Welcome to another episode of Reseller Evolution. My name's Scott.
And I'm Carl.
How's it going, Carl?
Episode 67?
67? Going to heaven.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good
Gotta
enough.
come up with a rhyme every week now.
I know you're screwed.
Now I started it.
So yeah, that was good. It was a good week.
Yeah.
We for the booth on Sunday, unfortunately there was a ice storm. So that was fun. Okay. Yeah. So I spent the night dreaming of the friggin' booth and if I was gonna go, which was highly annoying. And then in the morning I was texting and using Facebook to contact people, and they were contacting me saying, "Are you going in today?" Because it's not just like getting there, it's like, is any customers actually going to show up? So ironically, everyone I asked, they all went in, but no one else did.
Oh, geez.
So it was half the booth vendors were there, the customers were a trickle. So mostly we just talked, and like there was a little splurge of people coming in, but mostly I just worked on the booth and got stuff like that done. So it wasn't exactly, I didn't pay rent that week, that's for sure, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's odd, right, that people don't come there when they have a little bit of an ice storm. Are you surprised?
No, it's dangerous, especially on the back roads where that stuff is. It's not necessarily salted, right?
Yeah, I grew up on that shit. I grew up on that kind of, so like to me it's, I don't know, it's part of winter.
Yeah, ice storms. I grew up with that stuff too, but ice storms a little different, right? I got scared of my life though when I was leaving the place. I got smashed on my car. I said, "What the hell was that?" And it was actually ice falling off a power line.
Well, yes. So let me clarify what I was saying. There's difference between a little bit of ice and what they got in Aurelia. You know what I mean?
It was an ice storm.
That was craziness.
Yeah. But it was patchy. Yeah.
Crashing over and all that stuff, like that's a different situation. So I don't want to sound like I was confusing the two concepts. That's
yeah. No, this was
the
thing with the ice storm too is it's patchy, right?
Yeah.
So you could have one area not hit at all, and then another place encased in ice with like horrible road conditions. So, and I'm not surprised people didn't show up, but it was fine. But how was your week?
Honestly, dude, my week was good. I think Sunday was a little. You know what? Sunday wasn't slow at all. It was just nothing big sold. It was all small stuff. So which is good, but my biggest sale on Sunday was $15, but there was a lot of $15, like books and train stuff and plates. And you know what sold? Well, first of all, I had some Flow Blue plates, and I knew I put them too little, but there was a lot of crazing on them. Really no chips, but there was crazing, and I didn't want to put them online, so I put their Flow Blue, which is a good thing to kind of, it's not my bolo, but it could be a bolo. They're older, kind of like a ironstone Flow Blue kind of combo thing. I just put them in the booth. I put $5 a piece on them. Sometimes they can sell for $30 a piece, but like I said, there was a lot of crazing there. Somebody came in and bought them all. There was 10. I had 10 of them. So there's $50. Pokemon cards, $3 just for a package of about, I don't know, 30. Steph's grandson was over, and he knows all about Pokemon cards. Yeah. So he went through them. Of course, he picked 5. So those are probably $100 cards.
The cherry picked them out. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but he'll put the rest of them together. So there was like 11 bags, and they all sold for $3 a piece, which is $30-something, right? So
nothing to sneeze about.
No. So, what I have, maybe $5 in a bag. Like they were like, it was just a jumbo mess of a bag, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of comics sold. You know what really sold for me this week, which on Saturday, we just put a bunch of clothing in there. Clothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but jackets. I sold 8 pieces of clothing. Anywhere from like probably $15 to $50. And in the clothing, I'm including jackets, right? Like
what's been selling out? Jersey had been selling out of the booth for $50 or $60 each.
Nice.
So they're not mine what they're selling.
But it's still clothing.
Yeah.
Sold a catalog for $20 out of the booth. Car emblem for $30. So Saturday was really good. Sunday was good, but like I said, if nothing big sold, if something really big sold, like $150 item, it would have pushed that day into greatness. But um, that's kind of, I mean, okay. So I bought this oil painting for $30 on an auction, and
Yeah.
it sold for $275.
Oh wow.
And it was the Last Supper. It was a native, like a Native American, like he was Canadian. Like
Yeah.
I have my picture taken with the guy, right? Like
Yes. I
he
know
was
the
at the
style that you're talking about. Yeah.
and it was long. It was probably it had to be close to 6 feet long by 2 feet high wide.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but it was the long, but it was really like psychedelic looking. I bet you if
Yeah.
there was, I should have put a black light to it because it probably would have glowed, right? But anyway, $275, and everybody laughed when I brought it in. $275, you'd be lucky to get $100 for that. And I said no. I said like all his stuff was going for $300. I so I was actually going to put 325 on it, but
And then you
because
like
everybody was
built it
making fun
down.
of me, I put 275.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And it sells in less than a month. I bet you that sucker was 3 weeks max, right?
Yeah, that's
And
great.
I'm like, see, I knew it, and then they still laugh because it sold. And I'm like, well, you laugh because I bring it in, then you laugh when it sells? What's going on?
They're just jealous.
Yeah, I know. But there was a military telephone that sold. It took a long time. I thought that should have sold earlier. $75 on that. So there were some good sales. This is all at the booth. And then eBay just holds its own, like it's doing good. If I list more, I would sold more. Um, so sales have been going good. But I also went to an auction, and the auction
Uh-oh.
was fantastic.
Oh, good. It was
Yeah,
an craft one.
it was kind of one of the most funs I've had in a long time at an auction. I love auctions, but this one was a lot of stuff I wanted was going too high priced.
Yeah.
I expect that. I know that's going to happen. But there was a lot of stuff I got like for $5, $10. And, I got this iron. Nobody wanted it. I didn't even want it because I didn't know what it was. But it turns out that it's like $145 iron for $5. You know what I mean?
It's not vintage, it's kind of a modern brand, right?
Right. So they're still selling stuff. Like they had a couple TVs. Most of the stuff was antique-ish,
Yeah.
vintage, collectibles. Because it's from an estate that people would have passed on, they're also giving rid of their TVs and different things too, right?
Yeah.
I got some film reels. I got 12 film reels for $50, and they had like home videos on them. So I listed most of those yesterday. I still got a few. I got 3 left to list, but I put $50 to $70 depending. Like one's Algonquin Park in 1959 or 1962. That was the range of the film, so I think it's it's in between there, but it's Algonquin Park, right? And
Mhm.
it's a full reel, so I put like $69.95 on it. And then I put people
Different.
camping in 1950s. There was one where they went to a graduation in California, and then there was some other things there. So I think $50-$60 for that kind of stuff is right in the wheelhouse. I think I should get that. And there was 12 reels. You know what? I paid $50. If I could times 50 times 12, that's a good turnover, right? So
Yes.
but there was a lot of that. I paid $450 for a lot of G scale, which is your garden scale trains. It was the LGB in the box stuff, and the tracks. I bought so much track, like dude. I don't know. There must be 100 tracks there, but I did a quick Google search on the track, and they go for about $50 for 2.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, just the track alone will get me profit.
So you said garden scale, so these are big.
These are big.
Yeah, like literally for a garden.
They could be like I've seen bigger, but but those are the ones that people kind of sit on like a toy.
Yeah, well, yeah, that'd be
So
hilarious.
I don't know what that scale's called, but this would be the size of a work boot, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're pretty big. So I don't know, like I paid $450 for the whole lot, but there was 14 in the box, like cars or locomotives, And then there was a bigger box, which I think goes for about $200 to $300, and it was like multiple sets in there. Like it was a set, right?
Yeah.
So there's multiple items in there, and then there was some loose stuff, and then there was some control. They just sold the whole thing. But when you pay the big bucks like that, they're
Yeah.
not the surprise. It's the so I bought there was a tote, like not a tote, like a little plastic tray. And
Yeah.
I know I say little, it's not little, but it was, they call it, here's some toys. Well, for $5, I'm gonna
I know.
get
I
toys.
know.
Well,
Exactly.
dude, they turned out to be little men for the train set.
Oh,
And
right.
some go for like 25 to $30 a piece.
Oh, you bugger.
Yes, and I got a whole thing of them,
Well,
right?
screw you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's awesome. And then I got this for $5. I got a couple horses. Well, there was a horse trailer with a nice horse on it,
Yeah.
and I got $5, right? Well, it is a Briar horse. It's a
No.
Briar set.
Yeah.
So this thing here has comp for $60, but I'm going to put it in the booth for 25 because inside of it, it was actually quite dirty, and I'm not going to be able to get all the. It was almost like beach sand.
Oh, someone played
So
with it
I
in
think I
the
got most of
sandbox.
it out, but I spent $5 on two things. This being one, so I'll put it in the booth for $25. People collect Briar horses,
Yeah.
and this is like a miniature Briar horse, and and it's hooked to a buggy that's also by Briar. So I mean, just little shit like that I love. I
Yeah.
love
I love
finding
that
those
stuff
little
too.
hidden treasures.
You never know.
You never know. But there was more. There was so much more. But I mean, that's the basics of it. So,
Oh, wow.
and going to another auction this Saturday, Carl,
Nice.
and it should be better. But that doesn't mean I'll get anything because there could be more buyers, right? So I got to this one. I honestly didn't think I was going to get anything because it was packed, dude. It was probably the busiest I've ever seen it.
It's terrifying when you get to the parking lot and it's like,
Yeah.
wow, I can't find parking. This is
Yeah.
bad. This is bad.
Well, even the inner, like inside, was even worse than the part. Like everybody must have drove by themselves because it was like, or not by themselves. Everybody must have had a full car packed
Oh, right. Yeah.
because there was so many people in there, and there was the same people. So you kind of get like friendly a little bit with people because you see them all the time.
You do a nod.
Too friendly because they are the competition, right?
I like when my friends go.
Yeah.
I tell them not to sit with me.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't want them. I don't want to know I'm bidding against them.
Yeah. Well, this guy.
I say don't sit near me because I don't want to get distracted by them too.
Yep. 100%.
Because when I'm there, I'm not. Especially when you're there for hours, it's hard enough for me to concentrate without having a friend like talking to you at the same time.
Well, this guy was at the end. This was at the end of the auction, Carl. Tell me if this was bad. Steph goes, you should have said that. He took it. He took a fine. Put it like I would have laughed if somebody said it to me. But so I'm walking out, and you're pushing the door open, and you kind of turn, and just out of the corner of my eye, I saw someone coming towards the door carrying stuff too. But I had let the door slip, so I'm like, oh, and I was able to still grab the door, and I hold it up, and I said, "Oh, sorry about that." And I said, and then he's the competition, so I said to him, I said, "Oh, if I knew it was you, I would have left the door shut. I wouldn't have apologized."
That's fine. Like if you have a good relationship, or if you're fine with that person, that's fine.
Laughing, right?
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine. That's what guys do. That's what guys do, right?
Yeah, he's in competition. So
no, that's
so.
fine.
Anyways, he started laughing. And then as I was coming back in, we were he's parked differently, but we ended up kind of coming back together. And she goes, how'd you do today? And I said, actually, I did pretty good. I think I did okay. And I asked how he did. And I said, did you buy, first of all, I said, did you buy anything good today? And blah, blah, blah. And he goes, you always buy stuff here. He goes, every time you come here, he goes, you're always buying so much stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's what I come here for, right?
No, that's fine. Like competition is part of this game, right? Like you can either get all bitter about it, which some people do.
He's got deeper pockets. He always buys stuff off me. Like he outbids me on lots of stuff, right?
He'll beat you up on it. Yeah.
Yeah. If he wants it, he's getting it, right?
That was me with D&D books a while ago. I was like, I don't care what the price is. I'm getting these. I've been here for 2 hours waiting for these stupid books. They're coming home with me.
Yeah. And sometimes it pays off, and sometimes you're like, why did I do that? But
yeah, sometimes it's like burning money, but
But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. It was good. So
yeah. Awesome. Well, let's not get too deep into the weeds here because we got something special coming up.
What do we got coming up, Carl?
Oh, well, you'll have to find out in about 10 seconds, depending on what. Yeah. So is there anything else you want to add before we get into that bit?
No, I think that's it. Everything's going good, and I look forward to next week, and that's about it. That's all I can think of right off.
Spring's here. Garage sales are on the way.
Hey, garage sales are on the way. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
I have the artist thing in me, so that's where the Carverman, and I was surprised because it's Carverman at Live. I don't know if that even exists anymore.
Yeah.
But I was lucky to get that, so it stuck. So I'm like that or Canuck Surge on some places. That's what I am. So I'm proud of being who I am. So
yeah, you grew up here in Ottawa, right?
Yeah, correct.
Well.
Yeah, downtown Ottawa, 20-minute walk from the hill, and yeah, it's very. I wish some days I could do garage sales down there, but
that's funny that you say that because I always bitch about them around here. So
yeah, it's a hard place to go there now. It's it's not like it used to be in the 70s.
So let me ask this: Are the yard sales as bad as Carl says they are?
Well, see, I'm southwest of Ottawa, about 50 minutes from Barhaven, which is in the suburbs. So I try to stick around. They call it the SDG, South Dundas or Stormont Dundas Glengarry. That's the county. So they're sometimes far between, but there's little villages, and our village is terrible for community sales. Nobody has a community spirit, so we have to go out more. So I'm looking this year. We're got to get out early. Oh yeah. Like, well, the dog gets us up early anyway. So we got to get going, and I might even go to Brockville, which is I think it's about 50 minutes from us. So I hear a lot of good stuff from there. So right along the Seaway. So that's where we're gonna do. But most of my sourcing I do at the flea market. I pay up. Yep. Yeah, I pay up, so my ROI is less. Well, my wife and I do most of the buying. We do this together. Yeah. And but yeah, the ROI is less, but it's been well, this last few weeks have been bad, but somehow it lit up last night. So I the payout today was better than we thought. So
I got $10 last week. So
but
you can't complain about sourcing because like I stole your bolo from last week. Those
well, like I was listening to the podcast last week on Friday, I believe it was, or no, Saturday morning. That's right, because I sourced Friday, and as I was doing it, I sold the rutabaga mouse for $79.97, I think.
Wow,
nice. It was the first one. I think I have 18 of them listed. My wife kept 3, but one of them.
The life packs.
Yeah, the mouse that's it's like a I don't know, it's purple something, some vegetable or a rabbit, because she likes to decorate, so she picked out all the rabbits for Easter. But then when I showed her the comp, the sold comp, she says, just list it.
You'd rather have the money.
Yeah, exactly.
Decoration.
But I haven't done it yet, so I might let her have it this year. I'll just put it out next year. So I think I have the panda listed for I think $279.
Wow.
The panda eggplant, but there are some out there that are less, but this one is with the box and everything. So, and the guy just told me this week, because I bought I think it was 24 from him. I listed 21, and one has a little scratch on it, so I didn't list it. But he told me there's more where those came from if I want.
Well,
So,
tell him
yeah.
to come see me at the market instead. I'll give him a better price.
Well, well, I've been paying 10 and up for them, but
Yeah.
and I'm the type of guy, like I told him, I said, if something sells like really crazy, I'll take care of them. That's what I do.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
that's why they come. Like it took me, well, 5 years to cultivate those relationships there.
Yeah.
You know, some of the guys I never approached for a year or two, and I come out and tell them this is what my wife and I do, and this is what I like to pay. But it started with the pins when a guy couldn't do the booth anymore, so somebody bought the whole thing and had a fire sale right there at the flea market, which is great. So because then it used to be one of these guys that I called it, he had a museum too there. Instead of selling, I called them curators because it was too high to buy.
Yeah, we've
So
all seen those. Yeah.
unfortunately, his diabetes, he had to get he couldn't get out anymore. So
Oh God, don't scare me. I've been having issues.
no. This you take care of yourself. This man, unfortunately, it came, and we've had that in the family, but he couldn't get out there. So the old owners at the flea market arranged for somebody to come in, and he did a fire sale, and the guy brought some of his own stuff in, and that's where I found the pins. I bought, I think, about 3,000. And then I found some gold pins in there, and that's why I love buying bulk pins.
So why pins? Why pins?
Pins? Because they fit in the old Canada Post 2 centimeter slot.
The slot of doom.
Yeah, so I created these. I take all the boxes, the Amazon boxes, and I pick up boxes at the little thrift store in town, because the county decided they're not picking up for businesses anymore, like recycle. So I get their box, and this is what I make. I call it a pin sandwich.
So basically, it's just a piece of cardboard folded over.
Yeah,
because like in Canada, like that shipping cost makes a big difference if you can put it through the letter post or if it was going to go through the other ways, right?
Exactly. For anyone starting, like the best thing I ever bought. First, I bought a wonky one. Somebody 3D printed plastic, like it was a 2 centimeter slot. And then I tried to make one out of cardboard, but it gets used up. So Amazon had this one here. Well, you can't really see, but there's the letter slot for the P stamp. And then there's the 2 centimeter slot. And it's kind of funny because when I'm at the flea market, people look at me and I'm doing this.
He's showing your finger,
that's exactly a 2 centimeter slot right at the knuckle.
Oh, right, yeah. So I have a slot of doom somewhere here as well. I bought off
Etsy. But that's if you're selling low. I will send something in Canada Post on like $30 and under, no tracking. Touch wood. I remember when we talked about that tape thing on the envelope. In the same postal code, I had 3 that disappeared within 2 weeks period, and I had to refund. But most of them, touch wood, I've never had a other problem after that. Once my wife told me, why don't you don't put eBay tape on the outside of the envelope?
So this is a discussion we had of like using eBay tape, like points your items out. I don't agree with Sage. I think
on an envelope,
it's just a coincidence. But we can each have our own opinion on it.
Yeah, well, see, on a box, I don't mind, because I've got some eBay boxes, some overpriced eBay boxes I get with the coupon. So those. But I mean, if you put colored tape on it, it's just like a beacon when the porch pirates see that at the door. So
honestly, I've had, like, we were talking about this I think a week ago. Like, out of all the packages we've sent, like I think I said I was at 4,500.
Yeah,
I think I've had like 2 disappear.
Well, okay. Well, that's good. That's good.
I use eBay tape on everything.
It's funny that you guys mentioned that, because I actually have an issue that came up.
Yeah.
and it's this week. Anyways, I'll have to go and find it. But basically, the guy is saying that it's showing delivered on the tracking, but he's saying he didn't deliver, he didn't get it, and he lives in a building where other people get their stuff, so he doesn't know if they got it by mistake or what.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I contacted eBay through typing, not verbally, and they just said hang tight for 4 days. If the buyer doesn't change his mind, they'll have to step in. But there's nothing I can really do at this point.
Yeah, and you're going to be covered anyway.
It's showing delivered, right?
Because I've learned that. I haven't had to do the USPS problem. One time, I think I lost one in the States, and the only ones I lost in Canada was those 3, and another one through the no tracking. So it's cost of doing business for saving money. But now I use the eBay Lite a lot more now.
It's like so good, isn't it?
I just sold the Casio, not the digital watch last night, but the dial one, and it was $27.99. And those I've been putting with the eBay Lite because it's but some other stuff I thought, because I like to put a watch in a box because it it goes through the machines, and so. But yeah, no, I've had all those problems, and I think I had to. But I was listening before we got on here. I was listening to another podcast, and the USPS has this issue where sometimes they don't have time to deliver, and the postman, or they scan it delivered to a box or something.
Yeah.
And then people check, and it's like, they don't have time to deliver, so they put it in this storage thing, so which means they bring it back to their place. So I guess it shows to them, I maybe for their performance thing, and then they go and deliver the next day, which is kind of, I don't think we do that here, but maybe, who knows?
That shouldn't be allowed. Like
no, and
I know with here with Canada Post, like the mail carriers have to deliver everything.
Yeah.
Where if they don't have time to wait for you at the door, they'll put like "we missed you" slips out. Yeah. Because they'll still count. So sometimes people complain that their postal carrier never delivers anything, and they catch them putting up that note without actually trying to deliver. But I think sometimes, remember, that it's just they get too much, or they're lazy. That could be both, right?
Well, that's what I love about being in a small town. Like I get in the car, and it's 3 minutes. I'm at the post office, and they know us.
Yeah, small towns.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like she'll come right to the door, and we're all. My wife works from home, so there's always one of us here, plus the dog. So it's not a problem. But no, it's a great. I think it's a plus for Canada Post. But then if I want UPS, I have to drive 30 minutes. So I don't. That's why during the strike we closed down.
Yeah,
because UPS and then if you want FedEx, I think it's the same thing. There's a little pharmacy in one of the towns here in Umbrin that they scan your packages, but I just don't feel. I feel better with Canada Post. So, but
yeah, I was feeling the same way before you used UPS a bit too, right? You just felt more comfortable.
Yeah, and like you said, the chit chats, or what Jamie on Thrift on Fire uses, Stallion, they don't exist here. Like I'd have to drive to Ottawa, or
honestly, I don't use it anymore.
Yeah.
Well, Canada Post is so much cheaper now that I find it's not worth the extra drive to chit chats, except for BC for some reason, right?
Yeah, I find Newfoundland can be
Newfoundland,
can be crazy, and some place in the mountains of BC.
I've had things go off the north of Quebec that can be expensive too. So I have another question. So what got you into reselling?
Well, I've always I don't know. I was always a shy kid, but I love finding treasures. Like my first flip, I said, was about 8 years old. Before I called it before the BTF, before the fire in '73. I found that one of the new neighbors moved in, and they put a box out full of LPs, And the only thing I knew back then was like French singers. Like you find LP boxes, Nana Mouskouri or Roger Whittaker, but this guy had 8 impeccable, well, to me at the time, Elvis records in there. And I grabbed them, and I had a cousin that she was like nuts on Elvis, and she lived in Montreal. So she used to come down once a month. So I kept them and then sold them to her. I was 8 years old, and I got to buy myself like a big Jim, Big Josh thing back then. The trailer.
Yeah.
They're like the big GI Joe type. So that got me going. And when we moved closer to the river, in Ottawa, along the Rideau River, back in the day, people threw all their garbage in there, like bottles and stuff. We'd walk with our wellies, and when the water was low, we'd find a milk bottle with a name on it from a dairy, and then we'd wash it out. And if it didn't wash out well, we'd go home. But if not, we'd just cross the bridge. There was
Yeah.
an antique dealer there, and in 1975, 75, he'd give us around $5 for those bottles. And that
Wow.
was a lot of money. Like we were borderline poor, so that was a lot of money. So that got me interested, and then life gets in the way. And then when I got sick, when I retired medically, I got into carving, and then I opened up. I was president of the club and all this, and then did some wood show carving competitions, and then I started buying wood carvings from people at our club, and some were excellent, and some were like some of the guys were very folk arty, which that's my style. But I met this guy here. This is I think it's called a. Is it
He's showing a decoy duck.
Yeah, I think it might be a grebe or something, and I have to look it up on Google Lens again. And this guy was in the war in World War II, and he was an amazing carver. I bought some of his tools, and he judged some of my carvings, and I won this little competition. And then when he passed away, there was an auction that I couldn't go to, but where did I find it? At the flea market.
Right.
The Steve or Patrick, whatever name he goes by, he
Yeah.
had a bunch. He had a bunch one day.
Yeah.
Because one of my friends went and said I paid up for those carvings at the auction, and so I ended up paying $75 for that. And
Those really
and what
well
was-
done ducks are amazing. Like I
Oh
sold
yeah,
one I found Value Village signed, $150.
oh
So
yeah.
now,
I mean, the work. This is not a working decoy, but this is
no,
like a
art.
like you should see like you probably see them, Scott, down your way. There's as far south past Toronto. There's always a competition each year up in Midland or around that area. They come down to London and do. It's called the Owl's Nest competition, and there's one in Hamilton. And some of the bird carvers is crazy. It's strange down here. It's just starting again. But as you
Well,
go down,
I would just like to throw it out to the audience that not
yeah.
all duck carvings are the same, right?
Oh no.
A lot of them depend on the artist. It can depend on age. Definitely condition.
Oh yeah.
But there's a lot of factors involved. Like most duck carvings, I'm going to say are under $50.
Oh yeah. But you might find we had I don't know if you know the Lee Valley Tools. It's a Canadian company that was started in Ottawa.
Okay.
And Leonard Lee, the owner, was a collector, and there was some guys here, and there's a guy at the club, and he carved every duck decoy or every duck waterfowl in existence, even the extinct Labrador. I think it was the Labrador duck or something, and this guy in his collection had a decoy from one of is it Teddy Roosevelt that was a duck. He did some duck hunting. One of the presidents. He had one of the decoys from the guy's decoy string. Some of them get separated, like in an estate, and he ended up like he had over 200 decoys. I just saw a picture once, and I'm like, but yeah, like you say, don't go out and buy a bunch of decoys. But
No, without knowing.
you know,
What I find it really funny is that you started mudlarking in Canada.
yeah,
Looking for
exactly.
bottles, which you don't think,
Oh,
I always think of England when I think of mudlarking, but you're doing it in the Ottawa and the Rideau River,
yeah.
right?
I
And
wa-
and
I
and and
that's
like, what bottles were you finding? You said you were finding milk ones and stuff like that.
milk bottles, and we found what do they call they call it torpedo bottles.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. There's no flat
elliptical.
bottom.
Yeah, you can't stand them up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think that's what they're called, torpedoes. And yeah, it was crazy. And then a lot of the little like the cobalt bottles. So yeah, we like back then we made a killing. One year the Rideau River was so low. I think it may have been like a drought type of year. The city kept it so low that, man, we that's the year we made a killing, because my mother didn't want. But sometimes in the Ottawa River, right near the falls, not far from the Governor General's, we used to find stuff there too. And then fossil hunting. That's another. My brother worked at the Mint, and right behind the Mint, it's a big wall of is it sedimentary rock,
Yeah, yeah.
and we used to find fossils. And yeah, so, and we spent our summers at the War Museum, so that's where I got my military like, my brother figured out a way how to break the weld on it, one of the tanks outside, so we could go in underneath. So we go in the tank and play war during the day.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
Crazy.
they had all the piece welded, but my brother was very resourceful. Um, and then yeah, so we did all that. So we always found stuff and flipped it to people, because when you don't have money, that's, it comes out of necessity. And now this, my wife and I, was during COVID that it really got going.
Oh, it was crazy during COVID.
I started watching like you people, like resellers like you guys on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I didn't know there was Canadian people. The only ones I saw is it the Barons out in, is it
Yeah.
Saskatchewan or Winnipeg?
Yeah.
But
Curiosity, eh?
they don't sell. They just buy and collect, I believe.
Yeah.
So
I think they
they're
sell a little bit, but I don't think they're on eBay by any means. I
yeah,
think
that's it.
because
So now,
sometimes they will pull up like profit and say sold on it, but I think they do it locally.
yeah.
But she's got a good eye for jewelry and
Oh yeah.
identifying gold pieces.
Yeah, that's I'm getting there.
Yeah.
It's a lesson, but man, what a rush to find to find gold. I like to buy in bulk, so when I go to a garage sale, I see a tangled mess of jewelry. I say to people, how much for it all, without even looking at it. It's just a tangled mess.
Do you
'Cause-
remember watching them find that tin type? And it was Jesse James.
oh no, I missed that one. I have to go
Yeah,
back and look.
so
Wow.
they were getting it authenticated and everything, and I just
Ooh.
never found out. So I'm assuming that it was not him, or they couldn't conclude that it was him.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
I remember that.
they sent it to California to have it authenticated. But I guess there is a trail of his sister and brother-in-law moving up into Saskatchewan, because that's where these guys, the Baron couple, are from.
Wow.
And it was a really interesting story. So
Yeah,
but
that's
if it was the real Jesse James, it was like worth her like $5 million or something.
wow. Well,
Right?
see, I don't know anything about tin types. Is that the ones you have, Carl, in
Yeah.
your booth that people are buying? Like you sell singles?
Well, I hope they buy.
Okay.
I've sold
So-
like 3 of them so far for $5.
Okay, so that's the ones like people, I've heard of it, and like people like to see like old cars on them, or like family
More
pictures,
interesting
I
things
guess.
than just generic people, that's for sure. Right?
Yeah.
I think I
Yeah.
got those really cheap well, not that cheap actually. I spent a little bit of money, but I got a bunch of other stuff at the same time.
I think kind of the rule of thumb is they're roughly around $10 a piece is their value. But if they have something that someone wants, it can go up. And if it's famous people, it can, I mean, obviously $5 million is quite a bit, but
Wow.
I wouldn't suggest that. But you could probably get a bit. I find the best ones are the daguerreotypes,
Yeah.
ambrotypes. Those are the ones on glass. And
Okay.
regardless, as long as they're in that case and they're in good condition, I think you're looking easy 50, 60 Canadian, but probably
Ooh.
70 and up is kind of where you're getting for those ones. So
Wow.
Yeah. You'll see them on occasion at auctions and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
well,
but
that's what I want to start doing.
it does depend on
Thinking-
condition too, because sometimes that picture can fade on that glass. So you want a nice, clean, clear picture, right? So
and I assume you keep those out of sunlight, I would assume.
yeah, I don't know. Like I mean, I keep everything kind of out of sunlight, but it's just because I'm in the basement.
Okay, yeah.
Right now.
I've got my carving desk is looking out at this field that where the geese are sitting, so that's it's very
Little
bright.
inspiration.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Everything behind me though, like this is all boxes. I box everything if it's big. I box it all so that I only calculated shipping or the $2.95 for that letter envelope,
Yeah.
So
So
it's
would you be doing this if there was no eBay?
well, what got us started is that when my daughter had a company that sold carving tools. She did it to keep me busy. She bought it from a friend, and we went all the way to Mississauga, I think, or just before Scarborough, and Trenton shows and all that. So I got a reputation because I was the carving guy. So whenever sadly, when a carver passed away, the widow, usually it's a widow, they'd get in touch with me, and I would go and offer them a price and buy all the tools. So I ended up with a lot of extra tools when my daughter shut the company down because of the American dollar back in 2019. So during COVID, I'm like, I got extra tools. So I started doing on Facebook carving tool clubs, and then Facebook Marketplace went nuts here. Like people, you post stuff, and they wouldn't even dicker at the beginning. They'd come and say, "I'll be there. I'll be there at this time," and they'd show up with the money because I didn't take any
What?
money ahead. Yeah, and they just give you the money. Like I had these, I flipped these truck ramps that I bought, and then I got rid of my truck, but I got them for $20 at a garage sale. Looked them up; they were 175 at Princess Auto, so I put them for 130. The guy said, "I'm working not far away. I'll be there at 4 o'clock." Bam, give me the 140. I'm like, wow, that's like 7 times what I paid. So, but then as things opened up, people started to not show up, and then you
Yeah.
try to contact them, they ghost you. So I got really annoyed with Facebook, and
Tell me
then
about it.
I started watching, like I say, all these guys, and I think the first one I watched was Commonwealth Picker, and then an NC Picker, which is now ADH Dave. I relate to him because I believe I have some ADHD.
Yeah.
So, because I can't sit still, and I don't concentrate because of the pain that I go through, and so I like to keep busy all the time. So that's why I said to my wife, I said, "You think I should do?" She said, "Yeah, we can do this. Let's try it." And then put one thing, and then my nephew says, "Oh, I've got some GI Joes, and my mother bought me these Legos when I was a kid. They were like a little set of Lego.
Yeah.
That's kind of a bold, but yeah, in a box. Didn't even say how many. It was the Shell tanker with the minifig, and the box had one corner. It wasn't open, but there had been a
The
sticker.
ding. Yeah.
And I look it up. I comp, and I was still new at comping. I didn't have TerraPeak or WorkPoint, and I saw one sold in Italy, $350. And
Yeah.
I
When
said
you
to
find
my
those
wife,
huge home runs, you're like, oh my God, this is the best
"Yeah,
thing ever.
it's."
Right?
My wife said, "There's no way. There's no way."
Yeah. There's
I
no
said,
way.
"Well, for SNG, poop and giggles, I'll put it for $329.99." And I was researching another little kit, and I think it was 8 minutes or something. That thing sold and was paid for.
I
It was
know.
like, that's
You
crazy.
can't believe it, right?
Oh, that bell. I have to turn my phone off now because, well, Carl, if I have it on, he'll say, you'll say the B word.
You
At the
bastard
flea
selling a
market.
bunch of stuff while I'm standing there selling nothing.
Well,
Yeah.
I started shutting it off because I get all these pictures, these baby pictures, and it's like ding,
All these
ding,
ding ding
ding.
dings. Yeah, yeah,
You know, as much as I love my grandchild, I love
yeah.
it, but when I hear a ka-ching,
Yeah.
that's the one that gets me. You know,
That's when
I
he
can
gets
look at the.
excited. You know, a true reseller. Screw the kid, the
Oh my
grandkid
God,
pictures.
yeah,
I want the jings.
well, that's it. I used to have a like an attachment to things,
Mm.
and now after, and my wife's the same now. We look it up, and she said, sell it."
It is
So
funny. That
so
happened to me
so.
too. I find reselling took the collecting out of me a lot.
Oh
And
yeah, well
also, like,
yeah.
I'd rather just, like, sometimes I'll keep things for a little bit just to enjoy them, but I'll move them on, right?
Well,
Like the
that's
paintings
yeah.
behind me, I've switched a few times. I'll send them to the booth and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
I
you
just,
got.
I just want to backtrack for 1 second here. You
Yeah,
talked about Legos. I just want to tell a story from last night.
yeah.
There was a Lego board and it's raised up. It's from a castle kind of Lego thing. I don't know if you guys
Hmm.
know what I'm talking about. There's a ramp on one side, but it's raised and it's about 10-inch by 10-inch square.
Yeah.
Like a moat bridge type of thing.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. I can show you a picture,
Okay.
but anyways, I was going to take it to the booth. I had my son here and I had they're basically called like bases, right? But this one is
Okay.
raised. They're a little different. One comes in gray with like kind of bluish around the bottom, which is to represent rocks, and then water is the blue.
Oh
And
well.
the other one is green, and it also has rock images painted into it. So I was to put $5. And he goes, $5 for those things. And I said, yeah, it's Lego, dude. And he goes, nobody's gonna buy it for $5. And I said, here, let's take a look. So I grabbed, not a word of a lie, I grabbed the one like I
Yeah.
was describing to you. I looked it up and it was like $50 to $75. And I'm like, see, this one's not going to the booth. So
That's
I
yeah.
listed the green one and the
Yeah.
blue one last night.
Yeah.
And within half an hour, the blue one sold. It's gray with blue. It's the water. $65.
See,
It's
like that just
crazy.
shows, like, we're still learning too. You're gonna put that for $5 in the
I was
booth.
gonna put it for $5, and my son thought I was asking too much to ask $5.
I know. I know.
It's so
Well, that's
funny. Yeah.
my like I said. My wife used to say, "Oh, there's no way." And like this morning, so I sold. He's a rookie for Montreal, Hudson. I think
Sport.
he might be, yeah, from Montreal for the Canadiens, the Habs, and I believe he was in the running for Rookie of the Year, the Calder, is it, or something. And I bought this $15 pack of Upper Deck cards about a month ago, and I saw this card. It's a Canvas Young Guns card, and like some of them sold for $180 ungraded, just out of the pack, and that's what I did with mine. I took it out, I put in a penny sleeve, then in the hard one, and then I thought, oh, I'll start at 179, and I ended up lowering it last night at 144, and I got an offer for $135.
Nice.
So I'm not very good at cards, but you know, with that's what I love about the Google Lens. Sometimes
Oh,
you'll find
yeah.
a good one,
Yeah.
and then if like Pokemon, if like I get a pack once in a while, and I check with my friend that has that weird odd stop shop, and he sells graded stuff and everything. So yeah, I'm trying different things, but and that hockey card paid off because the guy gave me a break at $10 for the pack of $15. So I'm like,
So,
you know.
so for another thing, you said you tried doing the booth, like, not a booth thing, but you did the tables outside. But you said it was
Oh
just
yeah.
too much energy for you, right? It
Yeah,
was difficult.
it's that those tables. I mean, that's why I started buying the Walmart table, but then my back's been struggling, and I'd rather be there looking to buy because I don't know what I missed in the summer,
Yeah,
inside and like but yeah, you
because like
getting
at
up
the
like
yeah,
you get there at 5, and with the setup that they
five, get
have,
there at 5. I don't get there at
yeah.
5.
Yeah, no, and that's late. That's late. But then now
Late.
the setup they have this year with all those sheds, I'm not sure how it's gonna work. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna liquidate all the stuff that I'm not selling, my death pile. It's like I have this bag here. This is a bag full of Canadian army patches and some US. I might liquidate that. I'm not sure yet if I'll put it on eBay because it's slowed down the military stuff unless it's World War II and World War One, or those service pins that I showed you there.
Yeah, the
But
ones with
so I think,
$500 fine. Yeah.
yeah, I think I'll liquidate all the stuff, or I might make mystery boxes on eBay. We'll see. But yeah, I think this year I'll concentrate on buying instead. Like Lachute, that's where I found most of my bulk pin hauls.
Yeah.
But once in a while, the guys all know around there now that I'm looking for pins, and
So
I
Lachute I
like,
haven't gone to yet. It's like an hour and a half away. It's in Quebec.
yeah, it's amazing.
But they're definitely a very early. My impression is people will stay overnight there for
Oh
their
yeah,
spot to sell at.
oh yeah. They park they park their cars like Paul, one of my buddies there. He's got a van. He empties the van, covers his tables with tarps, just like it was in the Canadian Pickers when they went there years ago. Like they go and wake up the guys. You go and wake up the guy if you find something under their tarp.
Oh my
And
God.
Paul has a Hudson Bay blanket that he uses in the back. And one lady at our flea market one day saw it. She says, "How much?" He says, "I'm not selling that. It's my blanket for when he's sleeping outside." So yeah,
You
a
know what?
lot of guys do that. Like they've got guys there set up, big setups. They pull a trailer or an RV, and
Yeah.
then they set up their stuff and they spend 2 days there. So a
Yeah,
lot of the
that's the thing about like the McAfee, flea market too. There's a wide variety of types of sellers.
yes,
Like you have the people outside, like you have literally people there who do garbage picking
yeah,
and
the
will
they
sell their stuff on the tables outside. And they're actually really
yeah.
popular because they're
Oh
selling stuff
yeah,
cheap and they want to get rid of it, right?
yeah. That's one of my bolo items for later there, that I found. And like some people there, like the one guy Dennis, he basically, I don't know how many tables he might have, 30 tables. He's
Yeah.
like he's still unloading stuff at 1 o'clock, and then and then but he
So
does.
is this a flea market type setup then? It's
Yeah.
not like guys are asking retail prices. They're actually
Oh no,
they're trying to
no.
unload it.
Yeah, well, when they know, like I said, it took me 5 years to get, to get in. Some of them I still can't buy from because they don't like eBay resellers, and that's what I tell people. I'm honest, because then they say, like I used to overpay at the beginning, overpay, just to break even, just to get a name out there that he's good. He'll keep his word. He'll give you good money, and then I started making relationships. So, but yeah, outside, like best time, like I get there at 5, put my
Oh,
tables, put the stuff out, cover it up because of the dew, and then I'm off looking for stuff, and
Looking
I'm
for stuff.
late. Some of them
Yeah.
are already picking. Sorry, some of them are already picking tables, but that's where I found some great stuff. But then I missed the inside stuff, and inside you will pay a little more some
Yeah.
because the rent is higher and stuff.
And
So
you're saying this is Lachute?
oh no, well this is both. It works for both places. In Lachute there are some inside, and like they have a setup there. It's basically they have storage lockers there too. So the guys open like 2 or 3 rows of storage lockers. I usually don't go there much because they want more. I
Okay.
stick to the field side.
Yeah.
So in between that, you have the junk guys, with the fake leather belts, the pipes,
Oh,
the
yeah.
the ashish pipes or whatever, the
Yeah,
fake
yeah.
lighters. So I stay away from those. Then you have a farmer's market further down, and then sometimes you'll get a guy with chickens or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
that's at
But yeah,
Lachute.
I
Yeah.
I stick to the field, so I get there at 7, which is late, and then it's I'm usually home by 1 o'clock at the latest, and it takes me an hour and a half to get home. So because I have a buggy with me. I carry like a grocery little thing, like the old ladies, and I try to fill it up. Sometimes I have to go to the car twice. So
Yeah.
it's
See, we
yeah.
don't really have that around here. Most of the flea markets that I don't think there's too many flea markets around here that I know of anyways. Like I think by now I would know of them.
That's
But
yeah,
a friend of mine, he does go to Quebec quite a bit.
yeah.
He just lives like 10 minutes from here. Um, he sells a lot of folk art, a lot of Canadiana
Oh,
stuff, right? So
that's
he
my
buys,
favorite.
yeah, that's what he's into. He's into weather vanes, a lot of like duck decoys, carved
Yeah.
fish, even ones that you can hang on the wall and stuff, but it's got to be old, right? So,
Oh, there's another one in Saint Eustache, which is close to Maribel Airport, I think. And it's another 30 minutes, so it's almost 2 hours. And they have something on Wednesday. So it's a different day, and I think they have Saturday also. And apparently it's really good there. So I'm trying to, I'm going slowly at it, but like in Lachute, you'll get everything. Last year I walked in there and the guy literally had a life-size Jesus on a cross carving. Like
I
literally,
I have
it,
that. Yeah.
oh, it's crazy, and
Life size.
oh yeah, it's just like,
Well, it's not life size. Sorry, mine's quite large, but
well, I
not
mean,
life.
okay, well, he was, Jesus was about maybe 5'6", 5'7" on the cross, and then the cross, like it was almost 7 feet tall the way it was set up, and
Yeah.
I'm like, he pulled this out of his van. I'm like, whoa! I said, I found Jesus. But you see a lot of that around there, and Jesus sells like religious.
Yeah.
I pick up like literally religious lots in Lachute, try to get them bulk, and the bulk of it goes down to the Bible Belt in the States.
Okay.
Yeah, I have one now, but it's been quiet in the States. But I have one now, and for I think $99, I put it a bit lower to try to get some. But yeah, different. Yeah, it's just crazy. But yeah, it's hard to tell. I think it's one of the best in the area. But you guys, like when I listen to your well, the podcast, and I watch your selling videos, um like your booth sounds, I wish I could go to that area, because we don't have that around here, like something that's open. I guess where Carl used to be, I don't know if it's open every day,
Yeah,
that little
nostalgia
place,
warehouse, but that's
but
more
it's
like a
not.
collectible store. But
Yeah,
we do have
it's
the
not.
Ottawa, South flea market, but and not flea market, antique market, but it's extremely expensive to have a booth in there, like 600 to 1,000.
There used to
It's
be
crazy.
one in the south end of Ottawa in Nepean, and it went away because
Yeah,
it was all older people that went. And there's one little market in Stittsville. It was an antique place, but it's I don't know. It's just it's nice to see. Like I watch your stuff, and you change your stuff up just like you, like when you bring in new stuff. But that's what I find about the flea market booths. Sometimes people, they don't bring anything new, so it's the
no,
same old, same old. So that's why this weekend, when I was showing you the bag that I got, there's this guy. He's 89. He was a veteran. He was a medic in the army, and he's been struggling. And he's been buying for years. Like he's had boxes underneath those
yeah,
tables that he
yeah,
has for years and years. And one of the past sellers has been helping him for 6 weeks, just cleaning up what's on top of the tables. He hasn't even touched the bottom, and I found some real good stuff this weekend. Um, that flag. I have to find out more about it. That flew, I think, in Kandahar at
yeah. You
the at
showed me
the
a medical flag. Yeah,
yeah. It's like the red of the cross of the medic cross kind of bled into the white, but he couldn't remember the name of the guy, but he had his uniform, and I hadn't been going to his end because he had the same stuff all the time. But
yeah,
now that our other buddy has been helping him clean up, I'm gonna go every week now because I spent over $125 there,
yeah. I'm
and
trying to get good at like moving things around at least, or taking
that's
stuff out that doesn't sell, because I did notice that like some people that it's stagnant.
oh yeah, and then and then I found over the years that some people, you learn the guys that say, oh yeah, I made $1,000 this week. So I say usually they probably made 100 or two.
Oh,
it's
really? I was
it's
believing
oh
them.
yeah, there's some of them, because you look and like, unless they did a backdoor thing, some of the same stuff is there. but there's still some older guys that bring in some stuff, like Claude. We call him Cowboy Claude. He goes on Monday in Lachute because a lot of the big dealers set up on Monday, and some of them they're done by the end of Monday, and it's not even open technically. But now they start charging them a small fee to be there on Monday, because a lot of the deals are there. So by the time you get Tuesday, that's why I don't get there till 7, because I'm not going to bother, because the big dealers already made the deals on Monday. So I pick
Really?
up the leftovers on Tuesday, and there's still lots left. Or like the first year, or 2 years, the first time I went to Lachute, one of my friends, Paul, was there from our flea market, and he drives from Brockville all the way there. So that's 2.5 hours, I think. And he picked up some military, and he said, I have a big, so I looked at it, and I spent $850 on all this military stuff, but I tripled my money, you know.
Nice. Nice.
He,
So
How
so
you're
far? How
imagine,
far? How far is Bowmanville from you guys?
Bowmanville from me is probably three, because
Oh,
Kingston's about an hour and a half, so it's probably three,
okay.
around there, because we're about the same. Where I am in Chesterville, Winchester area, it's kind of like a triangle. Ottawa, it's about from South Ottawa. It's about the same distance to get to Toronto, because you get the 416 from Ottawa. We kind of hit the back way to the 401, so it's about the same distance. So, is there something big there?
Well, there's the Bowmanville Antique and Folk Art Show. I just wondered if you've been
Oh,
there.
no.
That's a friend of mine, Ben. He runs that. He owns that. Um, you got a web page. If you go on the web page, I'm just on it now.
Okay.
I wasn't sure how far Bowmanville was from you guys.
Well, I've driven like the Trenton and Bob Cajun, and with my daughter for shows. So I'm getting, but that's why I want to save my back, so I can get to
yeah.
those places.
Well,
And
if you punch in the Bowmanville Antique Folk Art Show, you'll get the
okay,
website.
okay.
So like I said, a friend of mine, he runs that. He's the one that set me up with those toy soldier pick and stuff.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah.
Wow.
He does a lot
That
of high end stuff too, right?
Oh,
wow.
he's the one that does all. Yeah. So he's the one I was talking about a little bit earlier. But he does the high end stuff, right? He does weather vanes, which can get very
Oh,
pricey as well. But a lot
that's
of wood carvings, a lot of signs, like old wood signs and stuff like that. But the
well,
old stuff, right?
that's the thing. Like the folk art, I've always been a fan of, because my father did some restoration on. Well, I didn't know him, but he did some restoration on the cathedral in Ottawa on Sussex, where all the politicians, when there's somebody that dies that's in Ottawa, it's a big. That's where I was baptized, and he did some restoration on some of the carvings there before I was born. And but some of the folk, like I spent time at the Parliament because my mother cleaned there, uh, and in the summer I could go with her before they started to work, and I was always amazed by the gargoyles up on the Peace Tower.
Yeah.
And I got to go there and meet the carillon guy, that he lived up there in an apartment where they do the carillon.
Yeah.
It's like the ding dongs, whatever. It's like an organ. So I got to go up there, and I could see these things. So I've always been impressed by the. And then one year, remember when they had the Antique Roadshow? They came to Ottawa at the. I don't know if you saw. It was on. I think it was on CBC. It was at the art gallery, the new art gallery on Sussex, and sure enough, somebody showed up there with a folk art weather vane, and the price. And I always thought, oh, Canadian stuff. And that's
Oh,
where I
it's
found out
crazy.
about like I was an artist, but I didn't do paint. So, but the group of 7 people showed up with the group of 7 stuff, and then but this weather vane, it was a crazy price. And I
Yeah.
said, wow, we stuff is worth as much as the stuff that you see on the Antique Roadshow in the States. And unfortunately, they only did it once that I know of. But yeah, there is a little nostalgia show. It was a couple weeks ago, and it used to be 5 minutes from where I lived in Barhaven. that some of the guys go to. You can tell when there's a show, there's less people at the flea market, less vendors. Certain ones just go to the, like there's a pop culture show. It's not for me, pop culture, but there's so much of it, and it's hard to figure out comic books and Pokemon cards. So yeah, I know pops. I saw all the pops that Carl got the other day. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I had
Like
two big cases full of them. Yeah, I sold half of them to Simon though. So
you sold half of them? Oh, that's good.
yeah,
That's good. And you said, well, because for the price, I mean, like I'm told, if you're gonna get pops, like my friend that has the store, he tries to get them at a buck or two at the most. Like, but people go into the store. It's almost like a pawn shop, but it's not, because he buys, sells, trades, and people bring collections. Like literally, they want, they want rent money or whatever. So he's had to, but oddities, that's what I'm looking for.
So I was going to ask you, do you like have areas that you prefer? Like, Scott always says he prefers vintage and antique, but he'll pick up other stuff too, right, Scott? Like you're not stuck to one thing, but you like the older stuff in general.
Yeah, well, that's what our store is called, Vintage New Stuff 2 on eBay.
On eBay, yeah.
Yeah, so we used to have Vintage New Stuff, and then it was, and then we transferred it for tax purposes. We did Vintage New Stuff 2. So it tells you it was kind of a weird name, but I love vintage, but hey, if the new stuff pays off, why not?
My store is called Carl with a bunch of numbers I don't even know.
Yeah,
I've never bothered to rename it.
My store is called Scott Sells Broken Stuff.
Oh, dear, that's
from your guy there. Oh, that's rude. That got me going. That comment.
That was funny.
That gets me going when somebody accuses you in public something, and they can't do like they can't do a message. That's what I call like trolling.
That guy was very rude. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that guy ended up. So what happened was he ended up buying something. He gave me a positive message on it, and he really went like I can actually go into what he said here. He gave me I clicked the wrong button here. So
did he change his bad one?
Well, no, he did not. So what he said was, blah, blah, blah. So I won't even say what his name. He's got a really off code like name for his store, or his handle, I guess you would say, on eBay. But he put, as described, this is the second item. This is the item he bought after he made his negative. As described, a wonderful piece. In my contacts with this vendor, I have found him. Like, I don't even know if he speaks good English here, because vendor, I have found him gone generous, attentive, honest, and fair. I did have an issue with Scott on a previous order. However, I am very happy to report that my concerns were satisfactorily addressed, and I am now able to report that Scott is a caring and conscious. He didn't even spell that right. Conscientious, I guess. Vendor.
Well, so I put that's good. But
I put thank you. I always make sure buyers for me are happy. Right. Have a great day. And then I blocked them.
I love that block thing. It's just like too many questions. Oh gosh.
Well, you know what? He had a week or week and a half or whatever it is. He could have
to do it.
Or he could have private messaged me, because Carl says if I replied to him, maybe he can't do it. But he could have said, I tried, but I can't do it. He didn't follow up with anything like that. I'm more important to him than he is to me. If he wants my toy soldiers, because they're selling. I don't need him. They're selling like crazy on their own. So he's punishing himself more than he's punishing me. Put it that way.
You know, my only and sometimes I try to have my glass half full most of the time, but that little voice in my head says, if I block them, what if he uses his wife
Yes,
You know,
I get
buy
paranoid like that.
something,
Yeah,
buy
yeah,
something, and
yeah.
then like
Give you an egg.
because
Yeah,
some of the guys on YouTube, and that's one of the issues, like the Commonwealth Picker, like getting stuff, like it's a detriment sometimes. Like people have sent them back like a bag of rotten carrots, and then you have to talk to eBay, and then eBay they'll refund you, but they also refund the person.
yeah. You
It's
can't
like, so
control that.
there's no punishment, and
No.
that's the problem. But yeah,
That's the
that's
thing
the
with
only
eBay is you
thing.
have to accept stuff that like that's going to happen. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you'll drive yourself nuts. With
Well,
and
I learned the hard way on eBay. Like I said, I was selling some tools. I started selling my extra tools because I had a lot of tools because I went to Lee Valley every day in my daughter's company, and so I got everything at cost. So one day I saw these. I know you probably see them. They're Opinel, Opinel. They're a carving tool. They're made in France, and they come out, and then there's a little neck thing that you move to lock the blade in, and they're very thin, and they used to be made of carbon, the blade. Now they make them out of stainless, and carbon is better for wood carvers because it holds an edge. So back in the day, because I went to a lot of socials, I took an engraver and I put my name on, or my initial SGD on the knife, and then that's how I learned that you should take many photographs and put them in, because the guy asked me a bunch of questions of these carbon, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't think back then. Now I know too many questions. Yeah. So I send them out to him. And then I wake up to a blasting of, you didn't disclose these things, or have initials written on them. And then I reacted in a bad way right away because
yeah,
I felt offended. And then my wife says, well, just calm down and wait and look at it in his way. And then I looked at it in his way, and I said, you know what? I said, I said, it was my second sale on eBay,
yeah,
and I refunded the whole thing, like you, Scott, with the soldiers. You refunded that guy, and that's what I did. And then he was happy. So he, thank goodness, he gave me a good feedback. He didn't go on right away
yeah.
after my bad reply. It's just like, but so now I take as many except for a pin. You can only take.
Yeah.
I take the front. I put a measurement, and I take the back. That's it. If there's a marking like the military service pin there has a serial number, I do that, and then that's it. So, but yeah, no, it's lessons learned for new people that are doing this. So yeah, that's how I got into it, and then it sort of, I used to be in the office with my wife, and this was just my carving shop, and then I'm making noise. Like, she hated the sound of tape when I was packing,
Yeah,
because she's
yeah,
like, during the day she's working at 4:30 in the morning, sometimes till 12:30. So and then so I said to her, I said, you know what that sound of tape is? That's the sound of money. And
yeah,
then
exactly.
she started liking it. So she actually hears it. We have a very small house, no basement. So she still hears it, and
Yeah,
she'll make a comment once in a while, because like it's the and I used to have my phones hooked up. She had the eBay app on it, and she would hear the ding on because the both phones are under my name, because I and so I had to take the thing off her phone. She enjoyed it, but it was going off, like,
oh, that's cool.
I remember the
That's
first
funny.
year.
I mean,
I don't know if it was for you guys, the first year of COVID, like I'd say 2021 Christmas season there, like a week or two before Christmas till New Year's, it was like 2 grand a week. It was
oh, it
just
was. I remember
crazy.
that with no
Yeah,
work.
you had that?
Yeah,
I
yeah. It was
mean,
2 grand a week with no work. That's the thing,
oh,
right?
yeah, it was just great. Well, when you're like, some people don't want, all like, you see these guys on, oh, I'm gonna only sell something 25 or more now. Okay, that's fine, but it's amazing how these pins add up
Well,
when you
especially
have
if
a
you're saving
system.
so much on shipping. Yeah,
Yeah, when you have a system, like I literally have about 100 of these things cut out already. I have a template on my desk. I just cut everything out and stack them there, so I'm always ready. And I can load pins, and I don't know if you guys do, I put a packing slip in every. A lot of
No,
people don't.
I
no.
don't.
Oh no.
No.
So and people appreciate it, and we sign the thing. Unless I'm doing something and I'm not, and that freaking packing slip puts me over 100 grams, they're not getting it.
All right, is that you're that close, eh? I
Yeah,
always add
so
I add 2 grams for the label. I
oh
always
my,
add
yes.
just in case.
and
But
and
yeah,
then like these envelopes, because you get them from Amazon or Walmart sometimes, and with the sticky on the back, you pull
yeah,
the thing, and like they lift in the corners.
yeah.
So and I was talking to a guy that bought a pin from Canada Post in Toronto, and he says everybody should learn from you, because people will put a pin in an envelope and send it out. He says, I work in the
Yeah,
distribution center, and he
yeah.
says once in a while one of those envelopes like just gets shredded. So he said he bought a pin, and when he got it, he says, "Whoa!" He says yours
You
will go through every time.
you took the
So
extra effort. Yeah.
yeah, well, that's it. And it doesn't, if you set up a system, it doesn't take much. It's like
No,
Scott with your soldiers. Man, I wish I could find one of those around here.
Oh, I
we
know.
all
That's
do.
that's a once in a lifetime type
Yeah.
of thing. It's but I found stuff on small scales, and the guys, what I love about the flea market, some of the guys do other things. They come from Montreal, and when it's rent weekend, that's what I was this weekend was rent weekend, I guess last week.
Oh,
I
wait,
think
wait, 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 wait. Are you saying you take advantage of us poor souls just trying to pay our rent
uh
for the next week by
I'm
lowballing us?
not
Is
I'm
that
not
what you're
sure I
about to tell me,
said
Slash?
that. No,
That's
no, but
hilarious, dude.
no, but it's true though.
Dude, that's a great. That's almost a bolo in itself.
Exactly. You
Oh
have
my
to.
god!
You have to learn.
Get off
I
the
don't do
show.
that to you. I don't do that to you, Carl. I'll overpay. I don't care.
I would. I'd be over at Carl's booth all the time.
You're so
What
dead.
what
Look, Carl's crying because he can't make rent. Let's take advantage of it.
what bugged me this weekend is like my wife says, "Oh, it's freezing rain. You're not going out
Yeah.
today, are you?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna wait." And then I hear ding. Is Carl says he says, "Are you going?" I said, "Well, I think I might go late, depending on people." And then we found out people are actually driving. It wasn't that bad, but a lot of people didn't show up, and it was rent day. And I'm like, "Damn, I'm losing that chance because on rent
Wow.
day."
My opinion of you, Saj, just
No,
dropped.
don't give my secret.
Mine just went up. I love it. That's awesome.
That's
Don't give my
awesome.
secret out to the guys there, Carl, because like there's one of those guys like he said, "Oh, I need
Well,
money
don't say
today."
names.
So you just hesitate a couple seconds more,
And
and
they'll
then
drop it.
it's like me outside. When I sell outside, I want to get rid of stuff. If they
Jesus.
hesitate a little more, I give them the deal before they ask for it.
Oh my god.
I'm terrible at that. I'm terrible at like.
I'm
So,
gonna.
'cause I
I would follow around. I would follow the guy that's collecting rent.
Oh
I
no,
just-
they
You want to go
they all
right
go
before him.
they all go to
Just
the
a
office.
second before him.
They go to the office, but this weekend I'm like, so next weekend, next Sunday I'll be watching, like, because they're gonna go to the office then.
Wow,
Because
look at me. I got my money ready. God damn it.
No, I'm like,
Okay.
people know
That's enough, Saj. We've heard enough from you this show.
No, that's awesome, dude. That's one of the best. That's one of the best strategies I've ever heard. Like that is like amazing.
Most people know I'm fair because I've hit some like some really bangers, and I've gone back and given a person like a Tim Hortons card or something and said, well, I made a little extra. And I've done that, or because it's literally it's the way you form friendships.
I think if anything from this conversation come out is like, one, Saj takes advantage of the poor sellers, but number two, how important contacts are, right? Like, and how that makes a huge, and it takes a while, like you said, to form all that.
Yeah.
So
I always like. I mean, I gave the one about the auction house I go to. I gave them something as a Christmas, just $50, but like buy yourself a pizza or something.
Yeah.
And within a couple of weeks later, I get a phone call and I end up getting a great deal on a bunch of books on a private library that they didn't feel comfortable auctioning off because it was just going to be so much work for them. I had the option to come in, buy all that stuff, and it paid off huge.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's what that's big because like I learned through like in 2006 did a garage sale. I met a guy that did that picked up. He had a thing with estate companies that he'd go in at the end and take all their sporting equipment that they didn't sell, skis and stuff like that, and they called them for more stuff because at the end they had less stuff to take away, the leftovers on Sunday or whatever. And then he sold it when there was an auction in Kempville at Trinity's, which doesn't exist anymore. He sold loads there, and he got me in the door one time, and I did a load. And man, I spent maybe $150 on this load plus maybe $50 for gas. And I got a check from the guy for $950 when they sold this stuff at auction. I'm like, wow. So it's always been like at different times in my life I've done it, but because of my health I couldn't do it to a certain point. But now the way we're set up here, post office close by, every Sunday I'm at the flea market, and I hate when I miss one. I missed two when I had COVID a couple years ago. And then when Christmas ended up being on a Sunday and New Year's on a Sunday that one year before, I think before that. So it kills me when I miss a Sunday. So the other day I'm like, wow. I said, I'm not missing another one. We missed one this year already with the big snowstorm. So because, if you're not there, they'll look for somebody else. If they need that rent money, they'll look for somebody else to pass it on to.
Okay. Well, that's enough from you, Saj.
Okay, sorry.
So
you know me, I can talk forever.
Well, you're the cruel side of you is coming out. So
I love it. I think it's awesome, dude.
We better get to the next segment here.
That is like the strategy of all strategies, man.
I think that's flipped out. I never even thought of that. My wife tells me.
So are we ready for the next segment? Are you ready? Are you ready for Bolo of the Week?
For sure.
I'm all ready.
Okay. So should we let the guest go first, or do you want to go first, Scott, or how do you want to
we'll let the guest go first. That's fine.
All right.
Okay.
So I could have used those Enesco homegrown things, but they was used last week.
Hey, I asked you, man.
I know. I'm just kidding. The one thing I found something on Sunday is people sometimes overlook airline items. I've found over the years, like from a junker outside, it's the lady that has a truck and she like has cans and everything out of it.
Yeah.
She had these safety seat cards from airlines.
Oh yeah.
I think it was last year or last year, and they're all defunct airlines like Canadian Airlines and all these other. And then I found out because I talked to people, and she used to work at the airport in Ottawa, and she used to clean the planes when they came in. So when they lost their jobs and when they shut down, she had a bunch of, or when they replaced those cards, she got a bunch of them, and I bought them, and like I sold some for $25-$30.
Oh wow.
People are into that. And like some were
airlines, yeah,
like are bilingual, and then like some people like in the States they like the Canadian bilingual stuff. And the other thing I found in one of my big lots that I bought, a pin lot, was a pilot badge with no name on it, but it was Air Canada. It's not defunct, but it was made by you probably know the name Bon Boyd. It's out of Toronto, I believe. They make some stuff like medals for certain companies. Sometimes it's in silver, but this had no name on it, but it was the gold one. So when I looked it up, it was a pilot, and it looked like it was brand new, like old stock, and it sold for $160.
Oh, crazy!
So yeah, and like the sick thing is, I haven't found them yet, but I was looking up puke bags.
Oh God!
A lot of barf bags. They basically there's somebody selling a lot of those things, and like in my things, I found a bunch of little pins, and there's a lot of defunct airlines in Canada that I find here. Like the one the other day was a paperweight, copper paperweight for Northwest Airlines in. It was a 20-year anniversary in Northwest Territories. They served the North. So yeah, all that stuff, and even utensils. I sold some Air Canada back when they gave you real utensil post 9/11. I found, oh sorry, that was a beep there. I just sold something. I turned my
Nice.
alarm off, but it went. Yeah, utensils with the airway. The Air Canada's got the circle with the maple leaf. So that
Yeah.
that stuff is amazing. But the safety cards, they fit. I don't put in. I put them in a big sandwich, so it's a little bit more than a regular stamp. So, but yeah, I ship them like that, $30.
Oh wow, that's a great bolo.
If you ever
Now,
find them.
when you say the barf bags, does it have to have the logo or the name of the airplane on it?
Yeah, usually they have they have the airline. So
Right.
the safety
Or
cards
the
are great.
airline, yeah.
Yeah, the safety cards are great because like I had some from a DC-8, so it shows all the exits.
Yeah.
Like the barf bag only says like Air Canada or whatever or Canadian, but they still sell. There's people that collect that stuff. But
It's
yeah,
like the
these
old grocery bags from stores that don't exist
exactly.
and stuff like that too, right?
Yeah.
So that makes
Oh
sense.
yeah.
Um so
Yeah.
sometimes, and I don't know how, probably the airplanes don't go back far enough, but sometimes you can get ship and train, but they're the
Oh
tag,
yeah.
the luggage tags and stuff that can be worth money.
Yes.
I guess the airplanes probably aren't old enough, or would you say there are some, like maybe some that do come off of planes that don't exist anymore, maybe?
I think the oldest, well, Canadian airline, I think's been gone. I flew to Newfoundland, I think in '93 would work in a little prop Canadian airline. So I think it was shortly after that they shut down.
Yeah.
So, some will call that vintage, but I've not found, like the paperweight the other day was from 1981. So
Yeah.
that's,
It's
for 44 or 44 years. But yeah, no, I wish, like I found well, the other thing is that's another thing that got me started. Decals from airplanes and airplane makers, Boeing, McDonnell Douglas, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, McDonnell. I bought a big lot of stickers, decals at the flea market for $50, and I probably made 1,000 on it.
yeah, nice.
Until the U.S. Customs said no more decals and letter mail, because they would so you had to send them with a small packet. But yeah, it's anything airline, or even like you say train, CP Canadian Pacific boats, like they'd had the HCMS or whatever it was called back then. It wasn't the Canadian military, but it had CP has flags on their boats, and I've sold a bunch of pins with the boat enamel pins, and even with some damage for $50. And it's this one guy in New York State in Rochester, New York, keeps buying them. I'm like,
Wow.
if I keep finding them, I mean that pays for
Sure.
quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anything transportation related
Yeah.
basically is it could be a bolo. Um, if you're in the way I do things, like the little CP engine pin, the 1201 or whatever, the old steam train, that'll sell for $10. Some
Yeah.
people will look at it and say, nah, but if it doesn't sell in a year, it ends up in a bucket. And once I have 200 in that bucket, I sell those 200 pins for $65. So
Yeah.
Nice.
So I don't have a problem so much. The reason I personally keep it 30 or more is because A, I have a whole bunch of stuff. So
well,
and
that's
B,
it.
I have the booth. So it's not time wise, it's more to my advantage to put it in a booth
Oh
and
yeah,
and still sell it. I would still buy it because I have an outlet to sell it. But because I have, especially with the toy soldiers and all that stuff, I have so much of that.
yeah.
if I'm going to put something online, I might as well go to those when I can put a price tag on it and throw it in the booth and get pretty much the same type of money. That's the only reason I try to keep that 30 and above, right?
Yeah, and everybody's differently. Like when we moved to this house, there's no basement, and I don't like putting stuff outside because my garage is damp. And so, like, I have lakefront property right now because we're between two high neighbors, so everything's inside. So, like, I bought the big Husky boxes or tool boxes with the maple the hardwood tops. We bought one, and then eventually we bought a second one. So all our pins fit in a small drawer, and then we have shelves all around with the stuff that already in the boxes. So that everybody's situated, and this is just part time basically. I would love to have a booth, but I'm not sure I can do that's the problem with my medical thing. I can't do 8 hours.
The booth is a lot of work, and sometimes I can understand the argument that because of eBay, it's not really worth the time and stuff. But to me, it's totally worth the time because I get more out of it than just selling. Yeah. I get contacts, I get sourcing.
Oh, that for sure.
And the people that I meet that have taught me what and just to have that weekly contact with those people, like that's priceless to me, right? So, so I think to have the booth, I think for me, and put it this way, the booth is doing really well, so that makes the big difference, right? If it wasn't doing as well as then I can understand that it's the work for the reward isn't there. But I've made so many contacts and learned so much from these people. Like, like I couldn't express in words how much it's just changed my life and just made my reselling journey, I guess you'd call it, so much better. I probably wouldn't be able to do it full time if it wasn't for, and I include YouTube in that as well. But right now we're talking about the booth, but just the contacts and the information I absorbed from people and listening to their experiences, it's priceless, right? So
that's how I spend so much time with a bunch of people on Sundays. Like I talk a lot, but I listen. Listen and like I listen. I hear the guy says, "Oh, I got to get some money today." so I hear that stuff.
That's
I go
hilarious.
to garage sale. I one of my it's listening to people. People listen. My mother said, "Listen and learn something every day." If you learn something every day, don't be a know-it-all. So that's why I love getting on here. I listen to you guys every week, and it's amazing what I've learned. And but I forgot something before. I forgot to ask you guys. I sold a camera yesterday for $120, and I had this weird gut feeling, and I'm sure you've had it too. I looked at the account. The account was created yesterday, but it paid right away. So
I understand, and maybe it was you, Carl, that said this. I'll let you go because I think I'm.
I try not to let it worry me.
Okay.
Because honestly, it usually goes fine. Like I sent a Pokemon board game for like $300 to a brand new account. Like about a month ago, it's fine.
I also heard that eBay has changed a little bit there in the last 6 months, or maybe even up to the year ago, so now they're doing promoted listings, and sometimes somebody that isn't an eBay buyer will buy that.
Yeah.
So they have to create an account right off the bat in order to buy it, but they're buying it from another site. Right.
Okay.
So they see it from another site and then they buy it, but they have to create that account in order to buy it. So it's like they just buy it because they saw your place somewhere, like on Facebook or something else.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know. I was just wondering, because I know I said, well, everybody has to start sometime, right? If we don't give people a chance to start something, it's like getting experience. You need experience, but you can't do it unless you do it.
Well, the thing they did say too, they warned, is that cameras are usually scammers. No, I'm just kidding, buddy.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this BS?
trying to get me back for Carl there. For that.
I'm just trying to make you not sleep tonight. So
Paranoid, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I
I know,
always
But,
look.
but I get, Serge, I get it. Like I feel
Okay.
I wasn't happy when someone bought my Pokemon game with zero feedback. It's not
Yeah.
like woohoo.
Well,
But
Yeah, you're probably fine. You're
okay.
probably
No,
I
fine.
it's
never
'cause
and I never check either. I just happened
I
to check in that one case.
well,
Who
I
knows how
look
many
at the
times it's happened
name.
and I haven't checked,
Like I look at the name because I know my return customers. So I look at the name and it was different. It was like the last name was Carless or something. He didn't have a car. I'm like, I've never heard that name before.
Right.
So like, okay. So that made me feel better, guys. Thanks.
You
Like
can
that.
blame Scott if something goes wrong.
Okay, I didn't know like you can. Like I got used to the ones from Hong Kong that buy and go to New Jersey or
I have no
Portland.
problem with those. I've never had a
I
problem
got
with
used
that.
to those. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. Perfect. All right.
Okay,
I'm
so I'm
done
gonna
with
do
my
my
bolo.
bolo. I'm gonna do my bolo.
Okay.
Okay, so mine is HP calculators, but the old ones,
Okay.
and they look like cheap crap.
HP. Really?
HP, Hewlett Packard, and like how like a lot of them are, I guess, vertical, like long.
Yeah.
These calculators actually are horizontal instead.
Okay.
oh, like a scientific calculator type
No,
thing?
they're not. They're not.
What we
They
use
just
in school?
no. They look nope. They
Oh
look
no.
cheaper than that.
Oh,
And so they're
weird.
HP 15C, 11C, and they're vintage. And you will find these on the baggy wall, and they go for hundreds of dollars.
Hundreds of dollars.
And I've found them a few times, and they look like nothing. So if you have a chance, you should look them up. It's hard to describe, except it just looks like a very cheap calculator. It usually has a gray top and a black bottom. They're a little more complicated than a regular calculator. They might be scientific. I don't really know.
I never seen them. Like I've seen the little credit card type. I had one of those,
It's
just
like a
for
credit
regular
card,
calculating. But
credit card type. Yeah.
so is it like the size of a iPhone or something?
Yeah, it's smaller than that.
Really? And $100.
You
Wow.
would look at these and not even know that they were so valuable.
I guarantee you I walked by 1,000. I'm just looking at them now.
Yeah.
100, 158, 172. These are sold comps.
Oh, wow. I'm not going to touch my laptop because I don't want it to create a, but I wrote it down. I have to look them up because I got a Casio graphic one. I don't even know how to test it. It comes on. I said tested. I'm taking a chance.
That's all. When I test that, I just turn them on. I try a few buttons. I say they've tested.
I hit the restart button.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's
these
cool.
are more. These aren't. I don't think people are using these. I think they're more collectible.
Well, I'm gonna do more Value Village runs when I go to Barhaven. It's right there beside Costco. So, I that's what I did the other day with the wall bags.
Yep.
And like I found these pewter, I don't know, the animal. So okay, good to know. That's cool. All right.
That's mine.
That's your own this week.
What?
That's your own bolo.
Yeah. Yeah, you steal yours. Yeah, that's right. I don't feel guilty though. Let me put it that way.
No, we're even now. Don't tell anybody about the rent thing, please.
Oh, yeah. I have news for you. People are figuring out the podcast is at the
that's true. He was listening to it live on speaker the other day.
Yeah, he was trying to troll me, but it wasn't working very well.
I haven't bought anything from Chris anyways.
I can cut it out if you want, but I think it's great myself.
That's all right. I don't mind.
Okay. All right. So is it my turn now, I guess, for bolo?
Yeah. Your turn, yeah.
Okay. So my bolo of the week, say I talked about religious theme stuff. So you talked about sconces that are made of brass. Well, mine's going to combine the two. These are large crucifixes.
Ooh.
And they're made of brass. And I sold one for almost $300, and I paid $5. It was in a barn. It had a little bit of corrosion at the bottom, but it's just a little greenish material. You could probably take that off. I left it.
Wow.
But
is it from a church?
You can get good money for some of these.
Do you think it was in a church eventually at some point?
Oh, I would imagine for sure.
Or a monastery.
I would imagine it like they're quite big. Like I'm trying to find a ruler here to kind of give you an idea, but they're
The weight?
probably 20 centimeter or sorry inches, 20 inches,
Oh,
right? Like they're
wow.
some of these can get really big, but they're very ornate, very
Oh, yeah.
like lots to them, and like
So
I think I got 280 for mine based on the size. I also had one that hung up on the wall, but it was a really thick bronze, and it
Oh, wow.
I got over $100 for it too. I sold these
nice.
a little while ago. I don't see them often. Not
Is
these
No.
that your
great big
booth?
ones.
At the
What's that?
booth or eBay?
eBay.
Oh, wow. The
I
weight's gotta
sold.
be.
It was fine. I mean, you're spending $280.
Yeah,
What's it
yeah.
going to cost? $30 at most to ship, right? So
Like UPS or
I would have went. I at the time I was only doing Canada Post. I'm
okay.
pretty much back to just doing Canada Post. So I would say at most you're looking at $30 to ship, but you're probably
Yeah.
charging at least 20, 25 anyway. So you might lose $5, but shipping has come down so much that
Yeah,
I
it
bet you
has.
$20 is probably exactly right where it would be. Right.
So
So
I'm not
I
sure.
mean people ship VCRs and DVD
Yeah.
recorders and stuff. I mean, this is going to be a lot cheaper than that for sure.
Wow.
But
That's cool because that's a good bolo for Lachute, I'm sure.
the big ones, right? You want the
Yeah.
the big ones. The little ones do okay, but they're quite common. I mean, like they're big and ornate, and they sit on a desk. Again, you could get the ones that sit on the wall to like hang on the wall, but I'm talking more so the ones on the desk. And I'm looking here. I see one sold for 348. Some of the
Ooh.
ones, I think the smaller ones, you get around 60 to 100. But the
Mhm.
great
Wow.
big ones, you're going to get 90, 71, 93. I'm trying to look for the bigger ones here. 11 inches isn't. I'm talking like 18, 20 inches.
Wow.
But there's a lot that are selling. Like I'm seeing 112 inches for 136, so that's good. But
That
if you can find the great big ones,
now
that's
is it just the cross or does it have Jesus on it?
probably going to have Jesus on it. Those are the ones
Okay.
I found, but there's probably just crosses as well.
Wow.
But the ones
That's
that I had always had Jesus on it.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Well, that's cool. That's
Well, I mean
different.
that's a good thing for Quebec because I mean
Mhm.
you know it's churches like is it's kind of a lot of them are shut down, so there you got to find this stuff in small towns. That's a good because that I mean if you can get cheap, that's a good flip for sure.
yeah, like you can pick them up for $5, $10. At
Oh,
least that's what I did,
wow.
right? And
That,
I mean, we do live in a farming community, but
yeah.
both places I found these were on. There were different farms, but I found each of them on a farm. So
Yeah, like
I
Serge
think
was seeing, you'll see a lot of this stuff in Quebec.
yeah,
yeah,
and like just our small town here, there's I think 4 churches.
Yeah.
There's one that has the little store in the bottom there. It's like so old, but it's the barn thing that I'd love to go on a barn run. But I never know. I'm still learning about that around here. But yeah, you've got the region. That's why for you, it's that's an amazing thing to turn 10 into 180, 200 and some dollars. Whew,
yeah,
Sounds good to me.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Well,
people
that's a
still.
great bolo. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can still find that at thrift stores. Well, not that, but certain things that are worth money because they can't catch everything.
No.
That's the
No.
beauty of it. Good stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Serge, for coming on and
Yeah,
giving
we'll
us
have
a
to
bit of
have
your
you back
knowledge.
again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll have to watch and when you guys do the comments there, I'll listen to it later. So
When like I don't know, Steph and I are talking about going eastward all the
yeah.
way to the coast, but we want to pick through, well, Carl's area. we gotta,
Get out of my area.
we gotta go yard selling once there, Carl. But
Well,
and
we
I
should
gotta
meet up
film
down
it.
actually in Mooresburg because it'll be so much easier for you to drive that. It would be kind of funny. You can come
Oh,
into
right
the flea
on.
market.
But we
Gotta
want to
time
come
it.
that way, so maybe
Yeah.
we'll contact you, Siraj, and maybe head into Lachute or somewhere where you can show me around, and we'll do a, I don't know, flea market, I guess.
Sure.
Is what
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That's yeah, keep up I love listening to this and learning. I learned from you guys, and I'm looking for those soldiers too, but nobody here. 'Cause
Dude,
there's a lot of
I
what do you call
haven't seen those soldiers since or before. That was
lot? Yeah,
like I
when
seen the older Britons and stuff like that, but these ones here, I don't really see
Yeah.
much.
there's one guy at the flea market that's in a group of collectors. He sells outside. You've probably seen him, Carl. I can't
Yeah, I
remember
talked to
his
him
name.
because I was asking him
Yeah.
about a piece that Scott sold. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's but yeah, other than that, I mean, I don't know much about them, but now I know. I didn't know about that brand, but now I
King
know
Country. Yeah.
if you can find in
Well,
the boxes. So
I just want to let you guys know I just sold one.
Right.
It was a John Jenkins for $38.21. So I would have
Wow.
given percentage off. But before the show, I sold one for $49.95.
Wow.
Which
Well, my
these are
sale
just
was
little
only
soldier guys, right?
I
So
know. It's
two's
nuts.
going out today.
Yeah.
It's like every day they go out, right? So
my sale was mini. It was that just came on. It was a Coast Guard pin, like a 1/4 inch little pin with the Coast Guard logo on it.
nice.
$7.99. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what people don't see. I see when I see pins, I see money. So
Yeah.
a lot of people don't. But yeah, you have to have
Well,
a system, and
I do. I'll throw them in the booth. But what happens is you can buy probably 100 of them for $10.
I wish I'd find
know,
more of those.
Yeah, like I find bags of them sometimes. Little lapel pins.
That's what I've been
Scott
looking
goes to
for.
Scott goes to garage sales where they're asking 10 cents for stuff.
Oh my
Gold
God.
from Santa Claus.
The
That's
ones
so
I get to
stupid.
now, you get to garage sale now, they got EB printouts. Like, come on. Are you doing a garage sale? Like, and then you start to explain to them, well, there's a sold site on eBay, but no, they can't get it. They just
Yeah.
see what's, because they go online, they don't have the app. So then, and then you start telling them, well, like take about 30% off of that right away, type of thing. But they don't get it.
No,
And
they don't care.
it's like if you get to a table and all the jewelry is in little bags separated, just walk by. When it's a big mess, buy it all. So
Well,
that's another bowl. Anyways,
yeah,
it was
for
great.
sure.
It was great to talk to you guys, and appreciate you having me on as your first guest. And anytime.
All right.
Yes.
Well, thanks.
Thank you so much, Serge.
Thanks so much, Serge.
All right. I'll
right.
see you on Sunday, and you'll see me in the comments.
All right.
Perfect.
Well, have a great day.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. So that was great to talk to Serge. It was good to have him on.
Yeah.
And lots of knowledge and information.
Lots
shared.
of experience for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
I really do like the strategy. Let's
Yeah.
the strategy.
Wow. Cutthroat.
All right, Carl. All right,
Okay.
buddy. What time is it now?
It's time for comments of the week.
Comments of the week.
Yeah. And we'll start with Spotify. If you're ready there, you can go ahead and read I think there was just one this week.
We just had one this week. Well, we're missing the commenter, the one that started the bolo, and she's not on this week. Tina Madden.
Well, she doesn't have to say something every week. She's allowed having a week off.
All right. Well, we do have a regular commenter, Adam Wakefield.
Awesome.
And let's see what he has to say this week. No questions this week. Oh, no questions. You guys will have to come up with your own content. LOL.
No problem.
Sorry, I just finished. Hang on, heck. Sorry, I just finished questions more interesting to listen to than someone commenting their 2 cents on something you talked about 2 weeks ago and having to remember what the conversation was about. Wow. Well, that does come across as a problem sometimes. What the heck are
Yeah.
we talking about? But anyway.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Adam? You don't even have to ask questions. You can just comment. But someone commenting on 2 cents on something they talked about 2 weeks ago. Not 2 weeks ago, a week ago.
Yeah.
Or is it 2 weeks?
And I like it. I like reading the comments because I find it's not just about the comment, but it sparks conversation about it too, a little deeper. So
yeah. Well, was it Adams that we were going down those rabbit holes and
yeah. And down the rabbit hole. So
we go down the rabbit hole and it'd be half an hour. But so I see where he's saying you have to have your own content. Well, Siraj filled in that this week. So
awesome. Well, thank you, Adam.
Thanks, Adam. And,
so
feel free to leave a comment next week as well.
So we're gonna go to YouTube now.
Go to YouTube.
Oh, do you want to read the first one? Like, because that's in reference to you, actually. Blue Hen. Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is Melissa. She is. I'm gonna hit a like there, thumbs up. I'll reply to it after as well. Blue Hens Market and Roadshow. So, if you remember me talking about this in the past, I have done some. Remember, I did shows in the past, and I talked about that on the show.
Mm-hmm.
That was through Melissa. She had a traveling roadshow type thing where we did one at the Frisky Beaver Winery.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's right funny. After kind of during and after COVID, it was all mask related stuff. But even before then, we were doing some stuff. So anyway, she says, thanks for the reference, Scott. No problem. Anytime, Melissa. Melissa would be a good person to have on as a guest as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it is Melissa. I hope. So I just didn't want to say her name, but I did look it up her. So you can go check out her website. I hope all is well with you, and you have to come up to my new project, the church. I definitely will get up there for sure. And farmhouse is still very popular home decor. Yes, farmhouse. Well, Melissa would know for sure. But I do consider farmhouse not to be shabby chic, even though there is some white in there. To me, farmhouse is more rustic, it's a combination of a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Did I say farmhouse? I don't think I said farmhouse isn't popular. I did say shabby chic kind of is going to, but I even picked up some stuff at the auction this week that would be considered farmhouse, which would be like galvanized cans, copper, but old, maybe hand hammered copper pots and stuff. I picked up some of the old primitive candlestick molds.
All right.
Things like that, to me, that would be farmhouse as well. So farmhouse decor, definitely I would say is it. So one thing that I would have sold recently would have been, remember I talked about that mangle board?
Yeah.
Right. And we didn't know what it was. I got it for $5 and sold it for like $125 or something, like over $100. But that was old primitive stuff. And somebody would have had a farmhouse kind of decor, and they probably would have hung that as a primitive look. So, which is a bit of a crossover to like something else, but they can cross over for sure. But anyway, great to hear, Melissa. And, I'll definitely come up and check out the church.
And if you go to her channel, she has videos on it too.
Which is in Ilderton, Ontario.
Yeah. So check out her channel. She has videos on her converting the church. So.
And thanks for commenting, Melissa.
Yeah. So I'll do the next one from Doing It Wrong. When you respond to negative feedback, you're really not responding to that customer. You're putting your overall attitude in front of any other customers that check reviews before buying from you. Being argumentative in a feedback response is the wrong way to go. That can scare off other customers. Yeah, that's how I feel too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I totally get being frustrated and upset. And someone, I don't know if someone said it here, but it's like you write things down and then you delete it, and that's good enough.
But I also have the belief that I gotta hold my ground and let other people know that this isn't what I do. I don't sell broken stuff.
You don't sell broke. It's not.
So if
Scott
they
sells
see the
broken
negative
stuff.
comment, they're also going to read my comment. Did I say if it is broken at all? Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I don't know. But I think outside of that, I think everything was fine. I explained myself, my situation, and why I don't sell broken stuff. I sell good stuff. Right? So
Yes.
that's just my nature of my personality, and I can't help it.
No, I'm not changing. Okay.
I don't disagree with you, Carl, and I
Yeah.
definitely don't disagree with doing it wrong either. But that's my personality. And I'm going to say, hey, I'm a good reseller. This is a good store, and you should feel secure buying from me. And however I say that and whatever words I use, that's just the way it is.
If you don't like it, you're blocked.
You're
Good luck
blocked.
buying no toys for you.
Yep. No, you're cut off. You go to your room. No dessert.
It's like the soup guy. No toys for you. Okay, so the next one I have to explain a little bit. Okay. So at the market, across from me is the vintage toy. Why does it say man? Calm. Whatever.
Man,
the vintage toy man, right. He's a friend of mine. He thinks he's so funny. And he's trying to get under my skin. So, at the market, I don't hide the fact I have the podcast, but I don't really advertise it, right?
yeah.
But actually, one thing I did do this week is it's really easy to make a QR code. So I actually made one for our show. So I might put it there. I haven't quite decided, anyways. So he thinks he's so funny by making this mean comment in our show, and I know why it's there. It's because I have a red car from Tesla.
Uh-oh.
And he's trying to say things that I think the same way. I'm not going to read it out though. If people are that curious, they can read that on the show. He's just being a jerk. But you know what, Chris, you can be a jerk, and you're still my friend at the end of the day, because I know you can't take it. And when he tried to troll me by playing the podcast with my own voice, he was so upset because it had no effect on me. Because he's like, I don't care if I hear my own voice. I hear my own voice all the time. So, Chris, well, you know what they say.
I don't know. What do they say?
What?
What did they say? I don't know.
Well, I picked up a purple insulator. The glass ones.
Oh yeah.
I suggested what he could do with it. Let me put it that way.
All right.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, Chris has been a good friend. It's been enjoyable chewing the shit with him every Sunday. Makes the days go by and entertaining. But okay, so do you want to do the next one?
Julie, Red Trunk Relics. It was good to hear from you both that you feel my numbers for a small 5x5 booth were good. Not only that, but you said it was your first year. I know people that have been doing this for years and they still don't make rent, let alone a profit. So definitely was good. Thank you for your feedback. Question for Carl. At your booth, do buyers pay you, or do they check out at the cash desk like at the mall I'm in?
No, they cash out with me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like an outdoor flea market, really, except we keep our stuff there. So like I said before, like the flea market is two. There's people outside who have cabins or have tables. And then there's people inside who it's just like antique mall kind of in a way. And they keep all their stuff there, but we're only open Sundays. And they pay me directly. And you have to be there. So if I'm not there, I don't get paid.
Yeah.
And speaking of Chris,
your booth just doesn't get opened.
Yeah, we're not there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like speaking of Chris, I'm always chasing after him because he abandons his booth and he expects everyone else to like sell for him when he's gone, and then he doesn't show up and his customers get upset. Really bad booth owner.
Melissa will have experience with me doing the same thing. She's actually come over and watched my booth a few times while I was gone.
Oh yeah, just buying off other people or who knows doing what.
I won't chat.
Yeah. So annoying.
Julie says she's a vendor at the Vintage Vendors in Oshawa, and that's where she has experience. That's where her booth is, but they have a system similar to ours where they just tag their item. But she's also asking you, Carl, if they pay you, is it cash only or do you use Venmo?
Well, I don't do Venmo, but I do Square. which means they can use their credit cards. I think the fee is under 3%. It's around 3%. It's not that bad. Honestly, it's really rare that someone's going to use their credit card. I don't mind if they use their credit card, to be honest, because it's just actually it's kind of convenient because it goes into my bank account. I don't have to deposit cash or anything. So actually, I don't mind if they use credit card. But honestly, I would say 90% of the people there, or 95%, are cash only.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually advertise it a bit more that I do take Square, because I think it gets me business where it might not. Like someone doesn't want to use cash. Like, and let's be honest, a lot of the younger generation is just about tapping. And this is, you can tap with this. So, and it's easy to set up. So, like I said, most people, they want cash, but I don't care. So, but I don't do Venmo.
Do you wish you would have waited before you decided to buy that Square, or?
No, because now I can. There's no fee. There's no monthly fee.
Yeah.
So actually, you don't even need the Square. You can just use your phone. So it's technically you don't. Like I got a little Square that they can tap on.
Yeah.
But I don't even. Not sure if I'm even going to use it because your phone is good enough. So
couldn't a scammer? Isn't there scams where they can like get your information from your phone? Like, what if they?
I don't know what they would get, but well, like I don't keep my credit cards on there, so I guess anything could happen.
Okay, no, I just wondered. I don't know for sure, but I thought there was some sort of scam where people can kind of.
There was a scam with e-transfer where it looked like you got the money, but you didn't get the money off e-transfer. It sent you an email, but it wasn't real or something like that.
Oh.
But if someone's going to scam me over like $10 tarot cards, well, more power to you.
Oh, I'm going to.
Well, there you go. Watch out for Scott, and watch out for Sage in his last day of the month.
Dude, that's a great strategy.
Wow.
That is.
I'm not sure. Should I keep that to myself? Maybe I should start telling everyone about it at the market there.
I don't know. No, keep it. You gotta let him.
Chris is going to hear it, so.
Dude, if he's not clever, you just got to let him. You got to appreciate it for what it is.
Okay.
All right. Well, speaking of such, here is Carverman 613. Niche selling works for some people, but I would rather buy all kinds of vintage and newer items and learn from mistakes. Carl, fake Lego wrestling blocks.
Yeah, he bought some Legos. Well, he thought it was Lego stuff, but it was like a knockoff brand. Yeah.
I find it more interesting. I see sellers that sell on Amazon, and it's always the same thing that works for them. It doesn't keep my brain going. To me, it's more like factory line work, putting one part on a car for 8 hours a day. Yep. Yeah. No, I can relate to that. But I think you're leaving stuff out there. Like, I think, if you're that person that, you know what is good. Like, I mean, if you have people that are niched into everything and you could go out and grab that stuff and sell it back to sell it to those niche people, you could make a lot of money and not have to even worry about setting up anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I did a bit of that. Like I got a whole bunch of Funko Pops last week and I sold I sold 14 of them to another booth owner and I just made a few bucks off each one. And I sold to him because they were just common ones, but he can go to special markets and sell them for much higher.
Yeah.
And he's willing to take less of a margin because he's just he let me shop and me go and buy all these things. Right. So, and I was able to get rid of all the ones I don't really care about as much. So yeah. I don't mind that kind of selling too. I don't mind new stuff in packaging, selling online. It's not interesting, but really I actually list it.
Yeah, I like going out there and finding just about everything.
Yeah.
Leave nothing on the table.
No.
Just a crying reseller that's in competition. That's all I wanted.
Crush them. Yeah.
I was ruthless as Carver Man is.
Oh man.
All right. What's the next one?
Okay, I'll do the next one from Sage. Hey Scott, I've had that type of reaction to eBay negative feedback and it happened on one of my first sales and also later on. I learned from that and I totally get it. Both my wife and I come from a customer service background and we are super hit on service, and our feedback shows it. Unfortunately, some people just don't get it. Also, eBay usually takes their side, saying that was the buyer's experience. Yeah, I've had that happen as well, which is total BS, especially if you refund totally.
Yeah. If you refund them, which I did.
Sometimes you just can't win. Like, you're in the right. You did everything correct, and you still lose.
Oh, I won, dude. I won. I blocked them.
You blocked no more toys.
Toys.
He's going to be crying that he doesn't get his.
Probably like, what'd I do? So,
thank you, Serge.
Thanks, Serge. And thanks for being a guest on today's show.
Yes.
Randy. Here's Randy. Hey, Scott and Carl. Negative feedback gets my blood boiling. It is. Like, when you take it kind of personal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do.
Like, you're not supposed to. I understand that. I get all that kind of stuff. But when you try hard and you actually gave good service to the item is clean, you looked after it, you took care of it, you packaged it well, you know that nothing else is broken, and then this person complains, you just want to
reach through that eBay app and whack them.
I heard that responding before asking for removal can complicate the situations, but I did the same thing, and the negative was removed. Best thing is to type what you feel like saying, but delete it and respond in a less aggressive manner. Oh, I wasn't aggressive at all. The F word, is that aggressive, using the FU word? Regarding niching back, I sold only comics for years, but now I am free range. Trains are a pain, and I know, and I bought more trains, but I'll do good with these ones, but they are a bit of a pain.
I think it's hilarious that we talked about trains not buying trains, and we talked about Funko Pops and not buying Funko Pops, and we bought trains and I bought Funko Pops. Yeah, just saying we're hypocrites. That's all.
I always guess what scale they are and list them as untested. Less money, but less grief. Yeah, I guess I should. I think I'm going to test these. I'm just going to hold off for a little bit, and I'll end up testing them. I just have to find the track that, if I can test them. But okay, now you did it. Every show must end with a joke of the week. Wow, that was hilarious. Thanks so much, Randy. I forgot about the joke. Yeah, we'll have to.
We'll discuss it.
We'll discuss it. I got one, Carl. Do you?
No.
Okay.
I hate telling jokes.
All right. I like that, Randy. Maybe we'll have to do that for sure. All right.
One more from Dawn.
The big novel.
Okay, so you know how like last week you said you couldn't see it all?
Yeah.
I only see one paragraph.
You are so full of it. You're just trying to get me to read it.
Actually, that's pretty smart, but actually, I'm not lying. I only see one paragraph. So I'm going to read it.
Read to what you got, what you can find.
Shipping prices are going all wacky right now. I intended to just go to calculated shipping for my Etsy stuff, but I don't have those things packed up. So that would be making a lot more work for myself.
Okay, let's stop right there for a second. What does that mean? Shipping prices are going all wacky. Yeah. I find that they're actually doing very well.
Me too. I don't know what the hell she's talking about.
Like, shipping prices to me are better than they've ever been right now.
Yep, I agree. Dawn doesn't know what she's talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Today,
you might explain it here. I see Stallion Express. Okay, go ahead.
Today I used Stallion Express for all but one of mine that was headed to Australia. Ooh, Australia. Okay, that's an asterisk. Australia's always been wacky.
Yeah.
I had to use eBay for that one because now there's no APC logistics option. It costs a hell of a lot more than it used to. Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't really pay much attention because it doesn't affect me. But I guess there was a cheaper way to ship those international packages through these reshippers, and they lost that option, I think. So that's what she's complaining about.
Oh. Well, then it's probably a huge jump then.
Yeah.
If it was worth it to send to Australia, like, it's never been worth it to me to go to Australia.
It's not. Especially when we pay fees on the shipping, right?
Yeah.
So it's like all you're doing is paying more in fees for the same sale.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
All right.
That's all I see. So you're going to have to be the extra bit.
Don't feel bad about the math thing, Carl. LOL. Not all of yours can be paper goy. Yeah. What does that mean?
That's one of the millionaire peddlers. It's paper goy.
Okay.
I used to think
with
it was
the
paper boy, but no, it's paper goy. So I don't know.
with the insert mathing in our heads. I sure as hell can't.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I don't do
Serge,
too bad. Like,
yeah, I don't. Serge actually gave me a calculator this week. He got a
oh,
calculator and a bunch of stuff, and he said, "Here's a big calculator." So I've solved that problem.
I like listening to it. When I was listening to it in the truck, this is
Yeah.
what you said, Carl,
Uh-oh.
and I lost out big time. $20.
Yeah, I know. It felt bad.
Like
Oh, come
big
on.
time. It's
I'm
like
desperate.
somebody got hundreds
Desperate.
of thousands of
I
dollars.
know. I know. But who
And it,
knows how many? But that's not the only case, right? I
okay,
swear once I paid more for a bulk buy than I would have paid individually because I didn't do
yeah,
the math. So I just know I get flustered. I'm not good at that. I need to go slow. Like when I negotiated with my buddy for the Funko Pops,
yeah.
I went damn slow because I just knew I would make a mistake there, right?
You still made money on that deal.
Well, I probably broke even barely.
Oh, really?
Hmm. I probably paid $1 each for those. I paid a lot. I paid too much,
Yeah.
but I paid about $1 each, I think. So, and I sold them for 2. So like it's making $1 off things is not where I want
Eh.
to be.
But would you have made the sale otherwise?
Yeah, I would have.
Yeah.
She seemed surprised when I said the price. I
Yeah.
think she was expecting to pay full price.
Oh, okay.
So that's my interpretation of what happened because she
Yeah.
seemed to look confused when I said the price. And I said, "Oh, is that okay?" And then she didn't really. And I said, "You're fine with that?" And she said, "Oh, yeah, yeah." So I think
And then
she was
ran.
thinking a how much higher price, right? Which was
Yeah.
the right price. So I think I cut myself out in that deal.
Okay.
Yeah, I was desperate to pay rent that week.
Yeah. That's Siraj's neighbor.
Man,
He had you. No, I don't know. I don't think. What's that?
Sedge has been really good. He's been he's been doing sympathy buys off of me. He bought one of my wrinkle dogs, and he gave me the calculator, a whole bunch of stuff. So I shouldn't throw him in the bus too much.
Too hard, yeah. I don't think that the customer will have the option to revise their feedback since you responded to it. I know. That's what Carl said too.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true though. Randy said otherwise, so maybe that changed.
Just to know for next time, everyone handles these things differently, but I don't think I would have handled it one way if it's a one-time buyer and another way for a repeat buyer. So she would have handled it the same way, no matter. Yeah. Well, if it's a repeat buyer, I kind of give him a little bit. I probably would have messaged him first because he did leave good comments before. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Anyway, I explained it last week. For me, a customer's a customer. Not for me. For me, a customer's a customer. If they're not happy with something, I want to know why and what happened so I can try to fix it. Well, this case, there was no fixing it. Yeah, I mean, I sent it out perfect, and they got it unperfect.
You know, sometimes that happens. Like I remember one guy got upset because something didn't work, and I sold it as working, and it was after the return period, and he sent me a message all upset, and I gave him his money back anyway. So I said, "Hey, if it doesn't work, here's your money." Yeah. He couldn't give me feedback anymore because it'd been over the period he could. Yeah. But he was happy. Of course, he was happy because it's like, no, I'll stand by what I did. I need to know about it though. We're not mind readers over here, right? So,
and the problem is with me, like, there's so much people out there buying that to have to deal with a complaint, like okay, if it's legit, it's legit. But if somebody's just complaining, then I think you're opening up to someone who is used to complaining.
Well, you know, like how during the interview, Sal said, sometimes I block if I get asked way too many questions.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I've done that too because those people are very, very particular.
Yeah.
And they're going to be a problem if something's off a millimeter, right? And I've seen that and experienced that.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to risk it because I hate to say it, is usually I find they're a problem person, right?
I also find someone who lowballs too much as someone who I'm going to block as well.
They can be a problem too.
Right.
Or like I had that one guy who was angry before he even bought.
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to go bad, but I sent it anyways and it went bad for no reason. The stuff wasn't damaged. It wasn't like something else. He was just upset that I wouldn't give him a low price.
Yep.
After he bought it and paid for it. So it's like, what are you going to do?
Hi, customer name. I just saw the feedback you left me and I wanted to check in and see what happened. If you could send me a couple of photos showing the damage you mentioned, we can go from there. I apologize for the disappointment, but I'd like to try to make things right for you. Getting defensive and accusing the customer of lying. Did I do that?
I'm not going to beat that horse anymore. It's
I didn't accuse him. I just questioned him. Without actually saying they're lying. Is it going to make the situation better? He did accuse me of selling broken stuff.
He did.
Yeah.
He didn't accuse. He just kind of came out and said it. You sell broken stuff.
Yeah. Any better or make them want to change their feedback, which they can't do anyway once you respond. When in doubt, maybe don't respond right away. But of course, your business, so you handle things the way you feel is right. I just tend to lean on the side of diplomacy. Oh, I got pure diplomacy.
Oh, it's a type of diplomacy.
It's a type, yeah. Carl, I heard that the F-bomb swear jar.
Oops.
Wow.
Oops.
I cut mine out. I left yours in.
Did you really do that? Did you honestly do that? I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Oh, you bastard.
Those Enesco homegrown figures are adorable. LOL. I think I need the banana.
Those are so cool. They are really, they're neat in real person. They're not really super justified. Even just seeing the pictures, you have to have them. And it's like, okay, this is fun. This is imaginative, right? You know.
Well, the prices are insane.
Well, that's also imaginative and great too. Yeah,
that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, there are definitely pros and cons to niching down versus generalization. It's all a matter of preference. I think people can do really well with a generalist list or generous seller, and so can the people who focus on one type of thing that they have spent decades learning about, collecting comic books, for example. Maybe it's just a matter of figuring out who your customer. Sorry, I got the hiccups now. Maybe it's just a matter of figuring out who your customer is. It's just a different base of customer from one type of shop booth to the other. I'm up to, like, I'll say this: whatever people want to do, they want to do. But I can't imagine doing anything but being eclectic. That's just, I can't imagine it working out any other way.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
Right. And it's hard to know if people are actually really doing well or not. So to say someone is or isn't doing well, it's hard to really tell. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the only thing with niches, especially if you have like a physical location,
niches get stitches. Isn't that the right?
The thing with niches is you're going to have those customers coming just to see you.
Well, I know, but I said that before too, but I have people coming to see my booths and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you have people like that on eBay because you have followers, right? People follow your store, so
I don't even look at that. I forget that even exists.
Yeah. I don't know. I just find for me personally, I enjoy finding the holy grail of a variety of things. But I think it just, whatever you can get a good return on investment and you can make lots of sales, to each their own, for sure. To each their own. I don't think they're not doing well. I don't know. What do you think, Carl? Do you think they're doing well or not doing well? Like, or do you just not know?
No idea.
Yeah. It would be an interesting idea, but I don't know. People sell clothing. They seem to do well.
I think finding unique, interesting things is the most important, to be honest, right?
Yeah, and doing what you like to do. Like, if you like it,
that helps a lot too, because they'll get you to actually list it, supposedly, technically.
But you know what I've been selling a lot of? is clothing. I sold a lot of clothing, and I just started that. Clothing is
Yeah. Well, it does well in the booth. I was just curious how many followers we have. You have 186, and I have 228 on our stores. I don't know where that even comes from. Some of that's going to be from the social media stuff, people looking up our stores, I think. So it's a little biased or a little bumped up maybe from a regular store, but yeah, I don't know. Like those, why does someone follow stores? On eBay, I follow stores if they have good stuff and I want to steal their bolos.
I don't follow anybody's store.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Or they're safe sellers. Is it so safe seller the same thing as a follower? It must be, eh?
I don't know. The only ones I know is yours. Well, Chris Treasure Chest, Adams, Shed Flips, and Pete's from Craigslist Hunter.
Oh, I have a ton.
What's that?
I follow a ton, like so many that I
don't even follow them. I just every now and then will go in and snoop around and see what's going on. But
no, I snoop, especially when I have to come up with my bolo of the week.
Really?
I snoop. Oh yeah.
Oh, Jamie's too. I guess Jamie would be one that I snoop, but I don't think I've ever followed any store, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you save sellers, is that the same thing as following? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't do either. And I
don't do it as much as I used to. Like when I first started, like it was very much more like, okay, what are people actually out there selling? So, but
and she's just followed up here with one last sentence. I can't drink Red Bull. It makes my whole body tingle. LOL. See ya.
Well, thank you, Don, for the comments. I just leaving it.
I don't know. Carl, it gives you wigs.
Yes. Well,
I've never had Red Bull. Just the
I haven't either, actually. Yeah, but I see people drinking it. Yeah. I do see people out there drinking it though, so they must like it.
I remember one guy saying he can't focus without it.
It's full of caffeine, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know. The Rockstar is also supposedly full with like natural ingredients like ginger and a bunch of different things. I'm sure it's
right.
Caffeine and sugar. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
So who knows?
I have to be careful with my sugar, damn it. I got those Fantas. Amy was away this weekend, so I got pizza to myself, and then I took the Fantas. Oh my god, it spiked my blood sugar from 6 to 14 or something just from one drink.
Right.
That is. Let me put it this way: that is not good for me.
That's not good.
No. Yes. Well, that's so. So, what's the joke of the week? Are you gonna close this out?
Well, okay. So this guy was at a job interview, and the guy that doing the interview said, "I really like your resume. It looks really good, but I'm a little concerned here. What is with this 4-year gap on your resume?" And the guy says, "Well, that's when I went to Yale." And he goes, "Went to Yale? Well, that's pretty impressive. You're hired." And the guy goes, "Thanks. I really need the job."
God damn it. Well,
okay.
Everyone out there asked for it, so there you go. Enjoy.
You got to put in the comments if you understood what that what that one meant.
Well, there you go.
Because I get about 50% of the people going, "That is dumb," and other people just howl and laugh because they get it. I got it. I thought it was hilarious.
Well, you can still get it and think it's dumb. Well, thank you for the joke, Scott.
I went to Yale, and I really need the job.
Yeah.
Thanks. I really need the job. All right. Carl got it. He just got it. He just glued in.
Yeah. A little slow. What can I say?
Now he's laughing. You might be driving down the road, and all of a sudden, I get it. That's hilarious. All right. Did you like the thumbnail on the last one, Carl?
I always do. I like the old men you're always picking. They're pretty funny. But I always wonder who's me and who's you. Am I the guy, like the cool guy, or am I the guy with the suspenders? Because
you're the guy. This time, you're the guy with the suspenders.
because I do wear this. I do wear suspenders sometimes.
There you go. And I am cool. So hey,
There you go.
there it is. All right. That's about all I got for this week, Carl. We ended with
That's
a joke.
good.
All right.
Yep. Awesome.
Any big things going on for next week you want to share?
I can't think of it, to be honest. My friend's going to come into the booth to hang out, I think. I always enjoy that on Sunday. And now I'm going to have to figure out which guys are desperate at the end of the month. And I'm going to have to get revenge on Chris somehow for his comments. So, did
your friend go to Yale? And does he really need a job?
What about you? How's your week coming? I'm just gonna keep going, man. I'm gonna ignore it. I'm just gonna keep talking. We're gonna end this thing.
All right,
end it.
All right. No, I have an auction to go to on Saturday, and that's about it. Just gonna try to keep listening and keep moving and keep on selling. That's about it.
We're getting closer to garage sales every week. So
yep, that is true. Maybe we'll have to have Harry come on as a guest sometime.
Yeah, why not?
Right? Because he's a yard sale bloodhound just like us. So
the patches he got from World War I and World War II are awesome. So
yeah, I wonder how he did with that. I'll have to go back and check, see if he's talked about that. I know he did 2 videos on it. On them.
He used some really cool artillery ones, I thought. So
yeah,
I looked them up.
All right. Well, have a good week, Carl. Have a good week, everyone. We'll see you next week on Spotify or YouTube. We're here every Friday with a new video or audio only. So have a good week, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, and thank you to Serge for coming on. And we'll see you all later.
Have a
Bye,
good one.
everyone.